everybody. Welcome back to Wauconda, and welcome back to, well, some Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff here. I got a couple of pieces here. Yeah, Armored Wolf, been a very strange day and night, especially with the printer not working. We'll dive into that later. This is that video. I still didn't get a chance to finish it. I'd still be filming right now if I was trying to do that, but this is that Marvel Crisis Protocol terrain here. And now this one, we actually did two different priming approaches on this. One was gray primer and one was more like this. Ironically enough, now they look at absolutely identical, but there was a little bit of a different process. Here we're going to go with one of these that's just been primed. This is one of the smaller kitties. There's bigger ones. Oh, here we got one of these. So that's one of the bigger kitties right there. And these are some of the new torch things that I printed out. Hey there, Doji. Well, I guess it's not super. Well, it's still relatively early for you. It's just so late here. So great to see you again there, Doji. As always, appreciate you being here. I'm gonna try and move some of this stuff out of the way here, like so. And obviously, what's our mission number one is to establish the object source lighting there. So we're gonna do that now before we screw around. So yeah, that's it's kind of funny, Doji. To me, that's an early bedtime, which I'm sure that doesn't really shock you in the least. That yeah, something like that to me is actually a very nah, not an early bedtime. It's well, these days it's getting to be a normal bedtime, which is not what I'm looking for. That's for sure. But thanks for joining me as always. And again, we're going to get the ball rolling here real quick. We also, of course, have our little flashlight here that we can use to determine where exactly that should go. There we are. So yeah, Doji, as always, happy Friday there. I almost said happy Tuesday because, well, today was very much a Monday. Yeah, unfortunately, the bamboo printer, Lethal Shadows was saying there could be just some debris on the nozzle or around the nozzle or something that's causing it to not actually reach it. What's weird though is that it does all the calibration stuff. Why can it do that and then not print? I think maybe because he's at his convention right now. I think maybe he didn't think of that. Hey there, Ryan. Nice to see you. So yeah, I think that's not really going to make much of a difference. But we'll see. Maybe it does. Alright, so I can see we need a little bit more of this here. Let's do this here. Yeah, it still does all the auto bed leveling and everything, like it normally does, but then it goes ahead and prints absolutely nothing, not even the calibration lines. So that's pretty quick right there. We'll be doing. Oh, that's right. We have to change that to the bluish color. Well, that's fine. I just wanted to get some of this going first. Let's consult the. Ah, yeah. There should be some there. All right. So Ryan, great to see you. Same thing there, Ryan. Once there's more folks there in the chat, and I was gonna do some glowing eyes too. I think. Oh, we don't need that there. That doesn't have to go there. Do a little bit more of that over here. Maybe even a bit of a cast shadow or something here. I don't know. Do we need any more up here? Flashlight time again. There is a little bit there. There's a little bit there. Some over here. And then we're gonna get to these things here. So let me do that real quick here. Kind of forgot about that. And again, I'm just filming a video with two of these. That's why the stream is so late, because I was, well, among other things, I was trying to get that video filmed. Didn't quite get it all filmed. There's still one more segment left to go on that. I do believe I did put up the latest video, right? What was that? Oh yeah, with the ships. At least I think I did. I would be really upset if I didn't. I think I did. Someone will have to let me know. Hey, Solitaire, how you doing? Well, Solitaire, talk about the Wayback Machine. Well, this was before there was any kind of 3D printed terrain, that's for sure. This is the old MDF style terrain, and you'll see it in just a second. I want to make sure I get that out here. And okay, yeah, let's wander on over to Wampleville here. And this is about 2012, 2011, 2012-ish, something like that. So this was Wild West Exodus, and you got all the buildings. It's kind of funny because there were so many of them, the house really did smell like it was on fire or something like that, because there was lots of, as you can see, MDF terrain. You got the jail, the church, the train station, lookout towers, the cantina. You had La Flamante Rose, that was the house of horizontal refreshment. We even brought out the train tracks there. Now that was, I think those were O scale or something like that, because this is a larger scale, and there are how-to articles galore on the blog that to show how to make that work. So we did do that one. Okay, thanks, Doji. I was, I'm just questioning everything. The level of distraction is just at fever pitch right now. So there's a water tower that we made. There's Wampleville Station. You can even see the Wampleville sign over there. So it was really fun. Again, we used cereal boxes for the roof shingles there, and lots of weathering powders. Again, there's got to be at least close to 100 blog articles on the different buildings. I was using, I was printing out wallpaper and carpets and posters and all kinds of fun stuff for that. Of course, I would have loved to have the oils here. It would have taken so much less time to do these, and we're doing object source lighting right now. Would have been just as easy, or actually much easier with the oils here with all the Dark Nation and Warrior Nation. Man, that would have been a ton easier. That would have been so much easier. Well, Doji, sorry that things are crazy there too. It's just there's the Adepticon stuff, then there's the printer acting weird. There is just a whole lot of craziness all happening at once. So when these things start to get a little bit less on the shiny side, that's when we're going to start. We'll get into that now. Also, Doji, these are those same brushes here from that video. I was using them during this video as well. I just wanted to see what would happen, well, with the oil paints, of course. Now let me get some of this and some of our fast matte white here. A little Indian yellow in there too. So Doji, yes, I completely forgot that it was Friday. I honestly thought, well, it's still not Friday here yet. We got 1 hour and 6 minutes of Thursday yet. But soon enough it will be Friday. Need to get the more of our light down in here. It's actually going to start to mix with our floral orange there a bit, which is just fine. Gonna just get that shoved down into there. Okay, so it's already starting to look a little bit more toasty. Hey there, Valfera. Unfortunately, Valfera, it's well, I think you heard me just saying that I was just about to say Happy Tuesday because it's been very much a Monday. Yeah, this is definitely a Monday kind of Thursday. Hopefully, a little less Monday for you. But yeah, sadly, a whole lot of Monday today. Now I'm just going to have to clean that stuff out of there. Unfortunately, I did not get a chance to, well, change a bunch of things here. So it's going to be much difficult to clean these brushes here. Yeah, Doji, that would be nice. I wouldn't mind some of that myself, actually. So yeah, Velfair. Unfortunately, the bamboo printer, it will do the it'll do all the build plate checking and everything, and it seems like everything's good to go. And then it goes to print the calibration lines. It doesn't do those because it's not making contact with the plate. And then obviously it goes to print something and nothing happens because it's not making contact with the plate. So Valfera, well, I started about 10 minutes ago, and the very first thing, as always, right, we're doing object source lighting. So yes, he started out, oh, here he is. Now this is bigger. He started out like this, and then obviously we begin with the object source lighting first, so that is why it's got that. Here's one without that. Again, I was doing a tutorial video where we added these things. Ironically enough, didn't paint any of these on that particular tutorial because I wanted to show a little something different there. We will be doing, you'll be seeing that video probably tomorrow or something like that, tomorrow night. Now, Lethal Shadows was saying there could be, I don't know what these 3 rods are that he's talking about, something that keeps it from, maybe some debris there that keeps it from reaching the plate. But then why is it doing the plate leveling check and actually making I think it believes it's making contact with it. I mean, we can try that. Something tells me it's beyond that, but who knows. Now let's get some more of our orange here. We'll also get some of our yellow in there too. We'll have to make that a little bit brighter, of course. So Doji, hopefully things get a little bit better there, kind of each day. I might have to, yeah, I might as well just get some more of this out here. Is this the Hansa yellow? Yeah, Hansa yellow. So then let's get some of that out here. Thanks to Velfira. It's, well, you're going to see a lot of these because I think there's 4 of the big kitties and potentially something like 8 of these or maybe 10. So you'll be seeing them here. You'll be seeing them in videos. Plus all the trees. Well, you can see it here. See this down here? See, there's a vehicle in there. There's a tree. There's a fountain. So you'll be seeing all that stuff. Because, well, this is all the Adepticon terrain right here. So yeah, Velfra, I don't know if yours gets, what was he saying? That there was some kind of debris. And I don't know, I was looking at that nozzle. There didn't seem to be anything there. Also, it does a nozzle cleaning. So I'm kind of thinking, well, it would, any kind of weird debris around the nozzle, that would be taken care of by the nozzle cleaning. So again, I'll just have to see what I can do here after the stream. That was the other reason why everything is later here. Boy, oh boy, I wish I could get that stupid here. There we go. So yeah, Valfira, I have to say that the bamboo printers, I mean, definitely there's a lot of nice things to like about them, but definitely there's some things that screw up. The other thing is it doesn't acknowledge the build plate. It just says, wow, there's no build plate on there. And I did Google that, and people have said they've had that problem too. What's weird is that the solution was make sure there's no glue covering the UPC code, or whatever that is. That was the solution that people mentioned there, and I did clean there was glue on there. I cleaned that off. Nothing happened, so that clearly was not the issue. Now we're going to keep getting our orange here. This is all that we've done. We've done nothing to this except add our orange lighting color here. That's it. So yeah, you can see again on the left there, you've got the kitty and the fountain. And then over here on the right-hand side, you've got the trees. You got that vehicle, whatever. I think it's a transport vehicle of some kind. again, never saw the movies, never read any comic books or anything like that. So I'm just kind of have to approach it blind, like all other comic book stuff. Just going, well, whatever this is, okay. So yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna try and you know crash test these brushes here. They're just synthetic brushes from Foxbite. Nothing fancy or anything like that. They dared to send some brushes this way. So and again, Velfra, I don't know if you saw the video that I just posted where we were talking about these. Also the Battlefleet Gothic ships. So we're gonna do some glowy eyes here. Let me get this one like that. Well, Veilfira, actually, I have to respond to the message, but they asked, they said, we know you don't like sable brushes, but would you want us to send you some? And the more sadistic part of me, Veilfira, says yes. I just, maybe I'm in a more sadistic mood right now, since the printer is not being cooperative. But yeah, I might say, well, fine, go ahead and send them. You know what's probably going to happen, though. So that's they might just send those, and probably not be super happy with what we end up saying, right? All right, let me see if I get some of my lightest stuff out here now. Let's try one of the smaller ones. All right, let's do this. Smaller brush here. We have our fast matte white. Not that much of it. I was actually hoping for more of a pinline wash version. Okay. You can see the difference. And this is still not the lightest light either. That is not as light as we can go. We could go lighter than that. Now also too, the coffee maker thing also died yesterday. Yeah, I found out when I went to I turned it on, right? Which I thought I did. And then I went to put I think it was a little coffee, hot chocolate mix in there. And it just was floating on top. And I went, well, that's kind of weird. And it's because, yeah, it doesn't heat up anymore. So that water was pretty darn cold, and needless to say, those things need to mix into something kind of warm, not something cold. So I had to replace that. That was coming, I don't know, it's 6 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning. So I just basically did an all-nighter too. Yeah, the now that is something actually a doji on with so many of these terrain pieces. I was tempted to take one, prime it really, really light, and then do that kind of, well, kind of one glaze at a time type thing. Like you say, that wouldn't be filmed in one session now, would it? That would be the slow boat, right? So Ryan, Doji, Valfair, you guys want to share something in the chat? Now we got some folks here. So if you wanted to share anything in the chat, please go ahead. And well, we'll just start coming back in with some of our darks here too. But again, that's 19 minutes in. You could do all kinds of slow, like you say, right, Dojio, that slower stuff, time-consuming stuff, or you could just do this, right? Now, Valfira, can you print? What is it that I'm trying to? What words am I trying to spit out here to print something in clear or semi-clear? PLA or something like that, with maybe a tint in it or whatever. And then, like you say, do your magnificent LED work, which is always really cool. Now we're starting to get some of the light up here now on this. So everybody, please check out the Instagram links that Doji posted, that Ryan posted. Fabulous oil painted miniatures. Uh, Eventually, I'm gonna have to kind of. We'll move on to this other stuff here. But as always, we want to establish the object source lighting first, and well, I think we were able to do that. Yeah, Doji, that is something that I was gonna try to do again in some video, like a video series, because that's pretty much the best place for it, right? In a video series. Now again, we'll do a little bit more with this, then we're gonna start to think about the other things we need to do here, which is everything else. Now, I did not assemble these, so there's going to be some mold lineage and other things here. Alright, so again, we've got some very, very, very quick source lighting there. We'll do some more, but now we want to move on here. I'm gonna grab me a filbert brush, maybe this one, yeah. Well, hopefully that plan works out there, Velfair. Oh, we're using that what I like to call the radiant indigo. Yeah, we're using that. So that is was it the ice blue, I think, from Richardson. Here it is. Let me just keep this out here. So yeah, it's the ice blue from Richardson there. Got this pretty dried out here. Maybe a little bit more of our darker stuff. So again, a mix of the Mars black and the indigo. And now this should make for some interesting film noirs later, won't it? Won't it, Valfera? Given the color contrast and the temperature contrast we're gonna have now between these two. And get a little bit there, just a touch of it. And let's hit this over here too, and then we'll have to get. Basically, it seems like that's supposed to be gold or whatever. Again, I don't know how close the this terrain is to stuff in the movies. Obviously, with GW and the Lord of the Rings stuff, it has to look it's got to look identical. If it's something, obviously they have leeway with things that weren't in the movies. But anything that was in the movie, they've got to make it look as close to that as possible. I don't know if that's the situation here with this stuff. So again, you've got the cool color and the warm here. Let's do a quickie film noir here. Next to this, interesting. Again, no object source lighting on this one here. Let's bring back our color once again. You know what? Oh, a little lighter. Now, believe it or not, this is actually the same palette right here. I might still be using this palette to film that last segment after this stream here. As we welcome in Rottweiler. Hey there, Rott. How you doing? Hopefully everything goes well for you getting ready for Adepticon. I know everybody's, I'm sure everybody's really going nuts trying to get everything ready for that. Everybody please give Rottweiler a follow if you could. So Rottweiler, we are painting some of this Marvel Crisis Protocol terrain. This is actually for Adepticon. You will be seeing these out on whatever the Marvel Crisis Protocol tournament is. You will be seeing these out there. So yeah, that's what I kept saying on the video there. I just figured that it has to be some kind of obsidian, right, Valfera? So and Valfera says in the comic book there are blue, but now that's, as you can see, that's kind of how they painted them as well. So again, we're doing this with the oil paints here. 25 minutes ago, that looked. Oh, here we go. This is a bigger version, but basically this is how this looked in 25 minutes. So we've done a little bit here, haven't we? Just a smidge. So Rottweiler, if you wanted to share any links in the chat there, please go ahead. And again, everybody, please give Rottweiler a follow. Alright, now here we can't do too much of the lighter yellow stuff, and I have to. It was interesting too, Doji and Ryan in Valfera, of course. There was one that I did the pre-glaze on like normal, and you could see on the like here. There's nothing on the brush. You could really see it. It was I was glad that it was the first time actually that I've ever done pre-glaze and no pre-glaze at the same time. So it was, it's terrain workshop, but really we were kind of doing some other stuff besides just actually the terrain almost was the least important part of it. Hey Alan, nice to see you back. Boy, it's been a little while. I hope that you're doing okay. Well, actually, I hope you're doing really well. But great to see you back. Boy, it's been a wee little while there. Sorry that the stream times have been kind of wacky and wild here of late. Well, it's been pretty much since October when everything just kind of went, well, bonkers. Let me get a little more of that, and then we also have to get something up here. I don't know. Where we? Oh, there it is. Let me get a little some of that. I don't care if some of the bluish stuff gets in there because, well, it should reflect into that anyways. That's cool. So, Alan, if you wanted to show anybody the stuff that you were working on there, please go ahead and do so. Valfera, wasn't sure if you had a chance to show off the mighty dragon or the big hand. Say hello to the hand. Do I have something that I could use for that? What about? Well, we'll try this. We'll try this here. Just grab some of this fast mat. We'll have to put some more of that fast mat out there pretty darn soon. We'll be doing probably some darker glazy things into this stuff too. Don't be surprised if we do that. And get this brush out of the line of sight there. Makes it a little bit confusing. Back to, where is that lighter stuff? Oh, here it is. So big difference between pre-glaze and no pre-glaze on many levels. It was just kind of interesting to see that. Now I'm gonna get some of the post pre-glaze. Terra Rosa maybe. No, not like that. Terra Rosa, some of the violet here, maybe even. Well, look at that. Some of that glaze, that's from the video right there. That is still intact. I don't want that to be too orangey, so let me get some of the Van Dyke brown into this. Plenty of thinner so that it actually acts like a pinline wash. Now, Alan, well, that sounds like it's going to be very fun for you. I'm glad you have all those. Everybody, please check out the Insta link there that Valfera posted. Is that the big hand? That is the big hand. Again, just going to do some of the glazy stuff in here. Come on, a little more. Like this here. So Velfer, that lighter yellow that you saw me put out on the palette, I guess it's Hansa Yellow Light. I thought it was just Hansa Yellow, but I just happened to look at the label and it said Hansa Yellow Light. So that's that is from Gamlin. Obviously, that doesn't really exist anymore, at least not the Gamlin version, because they, for whatever reason, maybe they just weren't selling well enough, but they got rid of all of the Fast Matte colors except for Fast Matte White. So again, thank you so much for the raid, Watweather. Appreciate that. Let's see. Well, we still got 45 minutes to Friday here, so it's still a happy Thursday here. Let me shrunk in a little bit more of this over here. Then we'll let that set, and then we're going to do the same thing here. And we did plenty of glazy stuff like this on the two ones we did in the video. All right, there we are. These two. And remember, this is 31 minutes in. Like the angel says, don't blink. Did we get? We did get the darker stuff in there. Again, just trying to do this in as much of a pin line fashion as possible, which means just touching the brush there, and that's it. Nothing else. Okay, just let the paint flow the way the paint's gonna flow. Now, it's possible that tomorrow I might be painting maybe the big kitty or something like that. So don't be surprised if you see a bunch of videos and streams with that terrain stuff. More of our dark in there. And again, we'll let that set. We're going to do this up here, and then we'll do our darker bluish stuff. Again, just letting that flow where it's going to flow here. Oh, that's right. I was going to do some red gemstones on this too. Fine, we'll hit that. And now it might actually, here, let me get some of the violet, some of the Van Dyke brown here. In just a few places. Now, these are some new, because I just couldn't find any of my other kind of braziers and stuff. Now, I do have the Pelennor ones. Those can be a little bit of a pain to print out. So I got some new ones. And these I'd actually talk about these on the video. I show them. They were pretty neat. Now see our glowy thing gets that much more glowy. Why? Because we didn't add any more light to the flame. We made what was around it darker. When in doubt, make things darker, and that certainly applies to object source lighting. Which is weird, because most people would kind of think, well, it's all about lighting, right? It's all about dark. Actually, it's kind of the opposite. Now, I don't have any of our super expensive red out here. There is no Perline Crimson. There's Perline Red, but that's, what, half the cost? Literally half the cost, or maybe even a little less. Yeah, so we darkened up this even more. That's gonna make these transitions that much more dramatic, I think. Oh yeah, it is. That's for sure. Now let me get to my Indigo and Mars Black. Again, this is the same palette that I used for that video that I was just trying to film right before the stream. I might switch this. You know what? Yes, I will. Because I was also trying out. Nope, that's not the one. Oh, we'll just go with this one then. And see, I just, again, touch the brush to it. That's it. Let it flow where it's going to flow. Gravity, just see how it literally flows upstream there. Now, Doji, it's pretty amazing what that color does, and the fact that it dries pretty darn quick. I mean, it dries sort of quick for just no matter what color it would be, but for a cobalt color, it's just, and it's yeah, it's pretty. It is the weirdest color, right? And of course, well, the Perline Crimson, the fact that that is staining, that was another huge shock right there. There, here, let me get some of that dark working in here, like so. More of that down in here, down by the feet, down on the ground here. Maybe even a little bit of that get down onto this little platform right here. Yeah, Doji, I do enjoy that. Now, I don't know if folks had a chance to see the, oh, what the heck was that called? Oh, the Puro Orange video. There we are. Again, just letting that flow down into those crevices. Got to do the same up here. Again, just gonna see, touch it in a couple of places. That was it. That was 3 touches. That's it. Wow, that's weird, Doji. Have you ever really, has any other color at Gerstecker not shown up there? I don't seem to recall that. That's definitely unusual. Oh, there's a couple more of these we can do, like up here. Then we have to let those set. That's where we're gonna get down into here. I'm gonna see if I can't make. Ooh, that's a little lighter there, but I'm gonna try and get some of that reflected onto the gold here. But oh, that's I guess that's something. I wonder if I could find that out from Dick Blick. I don't think there's any sort of copyright whatever date on here. No, I don't see anything. Now maybe somebody knows this code better, but this is interesting. So it's Pigment Red 179. I could swear that I read the information on the Dick Blick site. Oh yeah, here, let's get some of that. Again, that kind of bluish gray out here. Like so, yeah, same over here. I think we're good there. Boy, well, let's see. Case Rev, there was, let's see, what was it? Fall Gelb. So that was, Oh, that's not. Oh, it's full rot. I think it's ROT, right? Or red in German. I think I needed to lighten up the tail here a little bit too. Now the texture that you see on it, that's not a dry brush texture. That's actually the stone texture of the sculpt. So I actually did mention that on the video. So it is ROT. Okay, I thought so. I just keep thinking of, case white, case blue, case red, and I was fairly sure case red was ROT. Can I get any more of the light in there? Yeah, I can. Maybe a little more of that over here too. And once that gets less shiny, then that's kind of the signal where I can, the color has set for a bit, and I can actually get back in there and start doing some stuffs. Might even let that get slightly darker. We'll fill that in a little more here. Now I'm going to let a little bit more of the ice blue get on that brush there. Oh, here it is. So let me see. That is actually no. I see some French. I see what might be Italian on there. Oh no, here it is. It's on the top. Never mind. But it only talks about it only talks about the linseed oil. Believe it or not, that's all it talks about. Let's see. So Perlin, Carmensen. So that is the German name there, I guess. Where are we at here with this? How much later is that? Okay, it's not too much later. Especially on this side, I don't want to go too late. If I go too late over there on that side, we're gonna lose our object source lighting effect. We don't want that. I was using this as my blending brush on the video, and I will continue that process here. Now, actually, Doji, did you need me to hold it up longer for you so that you could actually get a chance to either see it or write it down? Sorry, but I didn't have it up there very long. Yeah, just let me know if you need to see that for longer there. Start to get some lighter stuff. So these things, again, I prefer the liner brushes that have obviously the stiffer bristles and such. These are still synthetics. They are not. They're not sable brushes. I wanted to start trying them out on streams just to. Well, we're gonna see how long they last. I'm guessing not very long. Back to my blending brush here. Okay, that's good. That's good, Doji. Glad you were able to get that info. So it's still not quite Friday yet. Yeah, I want to let that shoulder pick up some light there. So let's see, 44 minutes ago, this had no paint on it. There was certainly no object source lighting there. And I'm going to again try to get some kind of a gemstone thing going there. I can see here there must have been some mold lines or something around the edges of the ears. I was almost tempted to make that thing gold too, but maybe just around the gemstones we'll do the gold there. I really, yeah, see now that we don't want to go too crazy with the ambient light there, because again, but we still can go lighter on this. So we can actually still do a lighter shade on this. So we have not done the basically white. I would maybe even break out the fluorescent yellow potentially for that, I guess. There is some texture down on these things here. I just have been making them the same stone color. Had thought about doing something like in the way of maybe a gemstone, whatever. So I'm gonna plop that on there. We'll take this blending brush and we'll just push that around. It's just a beat up old craft brush. That's it. And is this the lightest light we can get on our bluish gray? Definitely not. We can certainly go lighter than that. So it is a Series 6. There's that really long number there, and it's just pigment red 179. So that's look for pigment red 179 because the perline red is a different color. Although I'll double check here. Perline red, that's pigment red 149. So I don't really know what the difference is there. Again, I probably read that stuff on the Dick Blick site, but I've just kind of forgotten what I read. Because that was weeks ago. If it wasn't 5 minutes ago, there's very little chance I'd remember the way things are going here. Okay, that's good. I'm glad that that's enough info there for you, Doji, to inquire. I tell you, that is a fantastic red. I mean, I really do. All kidding aside, feel bad that it is such an expensive red. I wish that it was not. Hey there, Grand Oracle. How you doing? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I could definitely use me a whole bunch of this right now. Grand Oracle, sorry that this was later. I was actually, well, a couple of things. I was trying to film a video. So these are actually, the palette that you see out here is from the video itself. So yeah, I was trying to film a video. And then the printer was, well, unfortunately, and well, this affects you because you now have one of these. Now there's been an error that didn't used to pop up that pops up now. And I Googled this, and other people were having the same issue where it basically says, well, you don't have a build plate there. So yeah, Grand Oracle, what's happened to mine is that it does and you're familiar with all the startup sequence, right? Where it does it's doing the build plate leveling, and then it makes the vibration sound, and then it kind of goes ba-dink, 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 and it does the little dots, right? At about, what would you say, about 1.75 inches, or maybe every 2 inches on the build plate. Well, it goes through all that, and then it goes to print the calibration lines. It does not print those. Basically, the print head doesn't reach it. It basically, it's not very much, but it does not actually reach all the way down to the build plate. And then obviously it doesn't print anything when it comes to the actual print itself. Never once do you get an error message of any kind, or does it sense anything. Yeah, sorry, Grand Oracle. Don't mean to tell you this. But now, Lethal Shadows was saying that he talked about some kind of 3 rods or something, and maybe there's debris there that's getting in the way. But I would think that it would sense that as it's doing the build plate leveling. So it has nothing to do with it sticking or anything like that. It's just not actually reaching the build plate. So that is very, very strange, and it's not like it's the build plate is warped or something, because it's trying to print on a whole bunch of different surfaces. So clearly, if it was warped, it would print on some and not on others. Yeah, Grand Oracle. I guess maybe I'll give that a try. I don't know if that's probably something. It's been so. I only did one of those so far. And you would think, right? That's what I was thinking, is maybe something was blocking something. And I did check around in there. Some folks even said, "Oh, clean the lens of the camera." There was other folks that said, "Well, if you open up the lid," and I'm like, "Well, I don't open the lid." That's because that's kind of the whole point of this thing, right? Grand Oracle is that it does all that stuff. Now, of course, again, sorry to be saying that. I'm glad that yours is doing well. But these kind of errors here, these have started to kind of build up over the course of the last couple of weeks. So thanks again, Grant Oracle. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for the sub too. You know what? I better still try to get. Yeah. So these, I have to say, these aren't necessarily the worst brushes ever. Well, we'll see how long they last. They may have a very short lifespan. And these are what, from Foxbite? Yeah, from Foxbite here. Let me see if I can get a little bit of our. Oh yeah, we need to get some more over there. We might actually have to bring down some more of the. Well, let's consult the oracle of the flashlight. Yes, indeed, we're gonna have to get some of our light over there. That's not a problemo. We'll just use this. Grand Oracle, would you just kind of say that? Yeah, obviously somebody who they just heard. Well, did you contact customer service? And well, the first thing I thought of is, well, your situation, right? And what you're looking at, 3 weeks now. So Grand, and I tried to tell her, well, that it's a newer company, or at least it's new to this side of things. And they may not just even have the bodies to take care of stuff like that. I know that was something that you were kind of contemplating or speculating there. So yeah, there was very little chance of them, you know, being able to help me with this. I'm just going to be on my own here. I'll have to just figure out something. Actually, I might. Oh, that's it. Armored Wolf. I'll ask Hank, because Hank has like 3 of these going right now. So, well, I can send him pictures of these and say, hey, okay, now you got to help me with this. Where is my. There you are. So 22 days and no responses there. That's a no bueno, right, Grand Oracle? Yeah, that's a little bit concerning. There we are. I need to get this is still, maybe I could go a little lighter than this, but I'm just trying to get a bit of a glow here. Yeah, that was a little more than I wanted. I can always cut some of that away. Let me see if I can go even a little bit lighter here. Light there and there. Okay. So that's just starting to look a little bit more glowy there. But I do hope that you are enjoying it. I'm all kidding aside, right? No, all kidding aside. I hope that you're enjoying it. It's giving you good results. There have definitely been, I don't know if it's an Elegoo thing or what, There's definitely been some more craziness with the spaghetti sauce. Let's do this. Now, again, maybe these are more challenging pieces that we're trying to do here. Although there were some that I thought were relatively simple that also had some mischief. So now we're just using our regular liner brush here. That's the Princeton liner brush there. Yeah, let's bring more of that down here. All of these little edges here, I think we need that. Yeah, we need to get at least out to probably here with the orange stuff. This right here, that got kind of nuked, so there's not really much of a thing for me to paint there. I'll just try and get some kind of paint on it. Okay, that's about the best I can do right there. But I do hope that it works well for you, do it in a Grand Oracle, and that you got some resolution on that. Because, well, what was I was just thinking, well, if I have to return this thing, it's going to be quite some time, right? So yeah, I really don't want to go there. So I'm going to try to see if I can. Well, I had thought about the basically total recalibration from scratch. First, I'm going to do the debris check because that's quicker, which I don't think is going to do anything. Yeah, that's yeah. Sorry again, Grand Oracle, that there's that extra hassle involved with it. I think it does pretty much. It's putting the kibosh on the idea of getting a second one of these in any way, shape, or form, or even like the next one down or something. I had thought about doing that, just so that this one doesn't have to bear the entire load. You know what? I'm gonna try and get me a little touch of that over here too. Now this is the thing I cannot do with those other brushes that you saw, the softer ones. Can't do that. Again, look where my hand is. None of this here. Right? Caress the brush. Grand Oracle, I did. What was? Oh, the bloom is off the rose. I think is that the phrase. Now again, I'm sure Valfera and a couple of other folks are saying, yeah, well, that's us FDM printers have been dealing with that for years. And I was expecting some mischief again. I was not expecting it to be all the rainbows and lollipops. There is no such thing as that with 3D printing, no matter what kind of printing it is, right? Let me see if I can't get a tiny touch of the orange there and then over there. So now let me start to fool around with the golds up here, I think. Indian yellow and this right here. Now I didn't put these things together, so there's some mold lines and some gaps and other things that we'll just have to kind of work our way through here. Yeah, Grand Oracle, to Hank from Adepticon again. He's got 3 of these going, And he's got some of the what are they, the P ones or whatever. I don't think he has the A one. I think whatever the next step down from this. Now I did also remember at the very last second to do the Kingdom of Asragor Kickstarter there. However, I think the paint sale is over with now, so I don't think we're going to be getting any more paint colors for a while. What we got is what we've got, unless it's maybe replacing one of the more inexpensive ones. Or maybe instead of red, maybe I go with something more like a green or a turquoise. Maybe that's what I should do. Also, too, this seems very light. It's not the lightest I can go there. Thanks so much, Armored Wolf, for posting a link to the Patreon page. Again, I'm working on a brand new video. We actually did add these little flamey things here on the video. And basically, I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of this Marvel Crisis Protocol terrain in the tutorial videos. Again, on the Patreon page. The Eldar series, that's going to probably start this week too. Again, it kind of depends. Are you sure there's not also like half a kidney in there, Grand Oracle, with the Cobalt Teal? Because that's a wallet bender right there. But yeah, there's now, I believe the winter paint sale is over with. So I guess we wait maybe maybe there's going to be a Memorial Day sale, Grand Oracle. That seems to maybe be when they would do something like that. So yeah, what was weird was the proportionality of the sale. It did seem like some paint companies, their stuff was more on sale than others. I couldn't really tell you, well, I know that the Richardson stuff, I saw that and it was saying it was up to 60 some odd % off. Whereas on the high side, the Williamsburg was 30. Of course, we'll certainly take the 30. Won't complain. Gonna continue with the little more of the light here. We're gonna start working some of this back in here. Now I might be painting the big kitty tomorrow on stream, since I think I can just try and film something on the other machine, so I can just leave the focus set up like for the bigger guy. Let me see. So yeah, Grand Oracle. There's definitely going to be plenty of terrain to be painted here with. I'll have to send you a picture of all the terrain organized. Well, yeah, yesterday some old friends, they had closed down their store and they had all these storage bins. What are they? Kind of like the ones that you use for hardware and stuff, but they were gigantic. Let me get a little bit of the... yeah, there we go. Some of the radiant violet in there. That is not light enough. Okay, that might just be more like it. Back to that again here. And do the same over here. You must have dark to show the light. So Why don't we add in some dark hair? Oh, and by the way, Lethal Shadows is at Emerald City Comic Con. I kept thinking, well, it's not March yet, but yes, that was, I guess, their first day of the convention already. So if you are at Emerald City Comic Con, or if you're thinking about going there, I think it is 11119. That is the booth number for Lethal Shadows. So we want to go support Lethal Shadows Gaming. And of course, well, what I'm trying to, he was asking me how many of these do I need, right? Because we have the brushes, right? We're doing 36 of these and 12 of the Wapelius brushes here. Those will be at Adepticon. But he was asking me how many of these that I wanted here. So that's the trickier thing. We'll see you later there, Doji. I am tempted now to just kind of go for one size. And I think maybe the 00 is probably the one that would get the most usage. I was thinking of like a 0 and the 000, but I might actually go kind of split the difference and go 00. I'm not so sure about that yet. Let me try and get. No. That's gotta have some kind of yellowness to it there. Also, we're not going to go too bonkers with these because, well, it's terrain for Adepticon that will spend most of its life just in a bin, in a storage unit. If this were mine, obviously it'd be a little different story because it'd be getting used for photography and a bunch of different things. I always try to mention that on the Patreon videos too. What is your, what's your purpose for certain things? What is it that you're looking to get out of them? I'm just going to try and make my own green here. Just going to take the Indian yellow and the Prussian blue here. So that is more of a, it's not really a phthalo green. That Prussian green, the Prussians hear that, but the Prussian green was not, that was not spectacular. Oh, you know what? I have Williamsburg phthalo green that I haven't used yet. Holy smokes. Let's see. Yeah, well, old Grand Oracle, yeah, hopefully at some point you'll be able to hook up with Lethal Shadows. I'm pretty sure that's kind of a home convention for him. I mean, I don't know if it's quite like what Adepticon is for us, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of home territory for him. What's the one he's doing? Oh, PAX, I think that's the other one that he's doing. PAX East or something. Yeah, just taking the blending brush to this. So yeah, Grand Oracle, obviously future. That is definitely a future color theory and oils video where we compare the two phthalo greens. I don't remember. I was very surprised to find that in some ways I kind of like the Winsor Newton Indigo better than I like the Williamsburg. I mean, it's a very intense color. It's just, to me, the Williamsburg Indigo is it's very much shinier than the Indigo from Winsor Newton. That's a little weird to be thinking that, because the Williamsburg ultramarine blue is not shiny at all, whereas the ultramarine blue from from Winsor Newton is very, very shiny. Let me get this here. Again, what's more that light. Still not as light as we can go. We could go a little lighter than that too. Let me see if I can get the gem inset there. So yeah, I think maybe we'll go with the green there. Now I'm gonna kind of stop fooling around with this stuff out here because I can already feel my hand touching that stuff, right? So why fool around with that when it's gonna keep wiping off that stuff? Let me see if I can't get me some of these little extra lines in here. I will. I have to just kind of come back in here and just sort of reshape some of this, because again, there is no shape there. There's our. Yeah, let's do this one here. Yep, we need to get that edge a little lighter too, and then we'll have to start doing some of our lighter radiant indigo. I just love the sound of that radiant indigo, which is almost kind of like radiant Van Dyke brown or radiant Mars black. That's what we're missing here. Okay. Basically, what I'm doing right now up here, that's the thing that I still, as you can see, I still want to try and do that on this video right here, and also the kind of the glowing eye stuff there too. And again, because the palette that you're looking at, that is the palette from the video that I was just filming minutes before the stream began here. So it's definitely not a sky blue. Oh, it's right over here. And this is the actual paint color, right? Just like Williamsburg. As you can see, that is it's kind of that grayish color. So when I take indigo and mix it with something like the fast matte white, I tend to get something like that. Indigo, it's a dark blue, but it's very grayish. Whereas obviously things like Prussian blue, that's kind of a straight up blue. Even phthalo blue, it's another dark blue, but very much a straight up blue. Whereas indigo, it's almost you almost feel like there's a little bit of black mixed in with the blue to make the indigo. Now, actually, well, I could look at the pigment info. It would probably say, what's in there to make, and maybe it's different. What they use to make the indigo from one or the other. That's certainly not unheard of, right, Grand Oracle? Now, actually, yeah, the Grand Oracle, it is a weird way of trying to get the files, right? Because you actually basically have to ask them permission to download them. But she does respond really quickly, and we'll get you that link. And I haven't seen. Oh, geez, I need to print those out. That's right, the tracker orcs or whatever. I don't know if you've tried doing those yet. Also, again, I don't know if she does Galadrim Knights, although I did find the plastic ones. So I have to try and get those put together so that we could maybe do those also on stream and such. So yeah, I wasn't sure if you'd seen those yet. I have not had a chance to obviously do very much. And Again, with the warmth and everything, it really has made printing uh, more difficult than it was supposed to be this month. I will try to maybe set up some prints tonight or something. Alright, there we go. A little bit more of the light there. Because, again, the oracle of the flashlight said it should be there. You can see it right on the cheek there. I don't know if it reaches the ear. No, it doesn't get to the ear. I am going to try this here. I'm going to get some of the perline red here. Maybe even a little bit of the violet. And what I'm hoping to do is... that didn't quite do it. Let's try this again. So Grand Oracle, I think, well, you probably already told me from during the week, but I think you have some more, there's some more Boy Scout stuff going on, because the training for that high adventure event, right? That is, that's going to be happening. Ooh, yeah, this up here. Maybe I'll just try to do I'll try and do it this way. I'll just slap the yellow in, and then we'll do the green gem stuff, whatever, over the top of that. Do I got some of it? I still have some of it over here. I think that's definitely the faster way to do that. Okay. Now, let me see if I can get some of this radiant green. Well, it's going to almost be a little bit more turquoise now. But that is going to start going into some of these gemstones, and then I have to start getting some of that into the golds too. Ah, boy, well, Grand Oracle, sorry about was that 2.5 hours each way? That is, well, I've never been a fan of driving, especially long ones like that. So sorry you gotta do that. Now, let me see if I can just sprinkle a little bit of this down here. Just a little indication of it, like that. Some more of that maybe over here too. Again, what's it reflecting? Maybe the ground. I'm guessing that a lot of the mats they're going to be using with this will be some kind of, well, greenery themed, of course. Let me see if I can also here get some of that blue tack out of the way. Well, my tool that I normally use to do that can't really find it. Maybe we'll just use this here. Just need to get some of that stuff out of my way and get rid of some of it. There we are. Ah, I was kind of hoping. I know, well, I just didn't want to jinx you there, Grand Oracle. I thought if I kind of went to the standpoint of, oh man, you're going to have to do that. It's sort of like the just don't roll a 1. That's a guaranteed way to roll a 1, right? Is say, oh, you just don't roll a 1. We got the, oh, here's an area here where we still need to get some more of that. Get a little bit of the touch of that green there. That is more like it. Hey, Bithron, how you doing? So yeah, Bithron, I know what you mean about the foam wire cutters, right? They that can really put out some black smoke in a hurry, can it? That was the whole reasoning behind the garage and those extra windows, right? Was to make circulation for just that sort of thing. He's and try and go a little bit lighter now, maybe with the. Ooh, not that light. Let me just kind of split the difference over here. So, Bitron, if you wanted to share anything in the chat, please go ahead and do so. Yeah, the steps. I kind of like the way the steps were going, where you had the two wings, right? Uh, actually, I'm looking at this. I'm just thinking that like the Art Institute of Chicago, you have basically a lion statue that's sitting kind of on the top of each of those little wings, I guess, if you want to call it that. So Grand Oracle can attest to the just don't roll a one, the success rate of failure by telling somebody just don't roll a one. I may or may not employ that strategy intentionally myself as someone is about to roll. I just say, it's no big deal. You got this guaranteed. You just don't roll a one. And of course, that engenders a rather unpleasant response. Let me see here. I'll just keep fooling around here with what's left of the fast matte white and the yellow here. Let's start mixing those together here. Nope, gotta get rid of some more of that. Now I think I can do a little bit of that up here. It's on the very ends there. There's just no point in messing around with that. At least not right now, because if I get my hand there, it's just gonna wipe that away. So again, 1 hour 21 minutes ago, we had no paint on this at all. None whatsoever. Certainly no object source lighting either. And just trying to build that in there. And we're going to get a little bit of light down here too. So everybody, please check out the Insta link there that Bitron posted. I guess Bitron, the way that the day was here, I completely spaced that it was almost Friday, so I was wondering if you were gonna maybe be able to get in another game this weekend. Don't want to go too light here. We did darken that up pretty well. But yeah, we definitely needed to do something like this here. And let me get some of that under here too. Yep. I'm just using the side of the brush here. Again, this is the thing, you can't do this with those floppier brushes. You need something like this, again, that has the stiffer bristles on it to be able to do something quite like that. The softer bristles, good for like this, where I'm doing a bit of the blending stuff. Well, Bitron, sorry about that. I was hoping you still get a chance to maybe at least work some more on your tiles and your steps. I know you were wanting to get it more of the parks in there too. But what was the other thing that we thought could be really, really interesting? I'm sure you got lots of phone lines and stuff. But I know I think you made a bunch of dumpsters also. There was something we were talking about that could be very interesting to have. Well, the park benches, that's right, that was the other thing I was... maybe some railroad stuff, that's right. Right, blending brush here. take some of that. There we go. There's just some really rough edges there. Not so rough anymore. Any brush can be a blending brush, of course. That's what I was thinking there, Bitron, is you could maybe just say, okay, fine, I'll do a solo one here. Yeah, Bitron, like with some manhole cover type and the the kind of caution, construction, whatever going on there, that would be very fun for sure. Let me make sure I get a little spot of green into that, and I'm gonna do that. We'll grab Mr. Blending Brush here. Let's do this. So don't be surprised if you see what looks like another one of these. It'll just be much bigger. Might be this guy. It just depends if I can fit him on screen or not. If I can, that might just be what we'll be painting tomorrow. So I'm just going to throw this out here. All right, blending brush. There we go. Do that here too. Blending brush, like so. And we'll do this here too. Blending brush. All right, let me, I think we need to go this way here. We'll have to just do the dark down there, but that's going to have to be after the fact because we've got a whole bunch of our blue tack in the way. Let's see. Yeah, I mean a statue, right, Bithron? I mean that can of all the terrain pieces, it's kind of the least vulnerable to scale issues, right? Most statues, I mean, unless it's really tiny, most statues could kind of work on anything. You know what? Let me see if I can't pull some of this away here. Yeah, I need to get to some of that here. Just getting rid of some of the extra blue tack here. Getting that out of the way. Yeah, that would really be nice to be able to double up on those, wouldn't it? Kind of use it for both. Actually, gee whiz, I think the last time I painted a Marvel Crisis Protocol figure was on, I think it might have been on stream. I know we did some YouTube live episodes with that. Actually, here there's a big old dot of primer on the magnifier light. You know what? We're gonna get some first though. Here, let me get rid of some of this, some of the excess here. Get rid of some of that, and then we'll come back in here with that light. Do the same over here, and again, not really any specific color because it's just going to mix with whatever stuff is already here. Let me lighten up this too. Over here. Push that up again with the blending brush here. Let me see if we can do those guys again. They got kind of for schmizzle when I did, well, this. And we'll have to do that over here too. This is, that's a little bit better over there. Even this side is pretty good. Maybe do these one more time. Again, just using the blending brush there. So look at the, again, the difference here in the color. So again, this is, I still have one more segment on the video, and that was going to be doing this stuff right here. And of course, as always, I kept saying during the video, well, this could be a shorter video than usual. Well, no. If anything, it's just as long as a regular one. It ends up working out that way. Just as soon as I think, oh, this is going to be a shorter video, it ends up being just the same as all the other ones. And again, I just put up, I think it was earlier today, the latest video. It's one of those things where there's a package coming really early, so I just kind of essentially did an almost all-nighter. And I forgot that I posted that probably, I don't know, at 5 something this morning, I guess. Now, I think I'm also going to, yeah, let me do the, here, we'll just grab some of this. And I will make that line darker. When in doubt, make things darker. Thank you so much, Armin Wolf, for posting a link to the GoFundMe campaign. I think I'll start posting the link to that on the Instagram posts again. Especially if we might need to get another replacement for the bamboo. I'm going to go a little, not just darker there, but also trying to sharpen up the edge of that. Okay. Now, just the, got the asphaltum here. Maybe there's a little bit of the Van Dyke brown, I suppose. Alright, let's get some of these things out of the field of vision there. Did I do that here yet? Not necessarily. Again, just to kind of straighten out that line there. I think we've already done, and I guess we do need to maybe get a little bit of the dark down into this here. Again, that's the asphaltum, a little bit of the Van Dyke brown in there as well. And we're a little over 90 minutes in. And as you can see, we've been able to do a lot of stuff here in an hour and a half. Let's see if I can, that's another edge that I needed to tighten up there. Is there a way for me to add a little bit more in the way of darks to the collar here? We have a lot of middle tone, we have some light. I don't know if we really have all the dark. There we go. So we have that light, then dark, then light again. I'm going to try and do the same. Ooh, we didn't want to lose our, well, we can always come back and hit that again. What I might also do now is not fool around anymore with the gold set. Let's start to get some of the lightest lights. And that was one of the things I did do on here. And you can see I kind of got the lightest lights. I might even go a little bit darker. Put the light on here first, and I'll try and go do some darker stuff down in the recesses here. I was going to get the fast matte white, but I'm going to see what I can do with our radiant indigo here, otherwise known as ice blue. And again, it's not the ice blue that you would think where it's, say, white mixed with phthalo blue or something like that. No, it's more like an indigo. That's why I keep thinking of it as radiant indigo. So it's a much more grayish color. And also, too, if I make this a little lighter and we give it some sharper highlights, well, that also is going to make that surface look harder, more like stone. Now, this is another one where there's all kinds of weird debris here. So just painting that line is very difficult. There's not much of a surface. I'm just kind of painting over a torn up surface right there. You get the light there, some more over here, and then some more up there. And let's do the here. Gotta get our highlights along these edges. Definitely gonna come back with the darker color there for sure. And we'll get some down in here, a little bit up there. It's not the whole line. You can see it's not the same intensity everywhere. It's just kind of at one portion of it. If all I did was just outline that, it would look really, really weird. Would not look as any unified anything. We certainly need our... Let's see, now it really does start to stand out those individual carved segments there. Yeah, my temptation was to do that as some kind of, maybe like a gemstone thing there. I might still do that because I have more of these. Now look at the difference between that and that. You can see a big difference there. And this is not white. This is not white yet. This is that. I wish I had gotten a few more of them while the paint sale was going on. And they're not terribly expensive. I think they're only a Series 2. Yeah, let's see, where is it here? Yeah, Series 2. So not, and Richardson is not expensive, say like a Williamsburg is, or Schminke, depending on where you're located, maybe around the globe. It does seem like most folks regard the Schminke as sort of like the EU's version of Williamsburg. This is another area where I might, we also could think about doing almost like a bit of marble there, but I don't think that makes sense. I think we want to continue the obsidian or whatever theme here. I'm gonna, what the heck, if I have to hit that again, we'll hit that again. But I kind of need to see what's going on with that, so. Alright, let's start to get some of the later stuff up here on the top of his head. I mean, really up here because, well, that's where most of the light would reach, wouldn't it? I mean, it reached the side of this here. Now, of course, I'm not quite sure what Prinkles thinks of all this. Right? Remember when Prinkles he saw those Basti cats from Titan Forge? Prinkles may not be too amused by another cat coming into the house there, or several more cats. He likes to think that this is a one-cat universe, and he is the one cat. Let me try and get a little bit more of a light right there, also there. Is there another? Yeah, let me see what I can do on these guys up here. Not doing a whole bunch. Prinkles, as Landra says, Prinkles always thinks of himself as top dog. Where is he? Where is that mischievous? Says, did I hear someone referring to me as a canine? Okay, fine. I only have 2 ears, got 3 eyes, but I heard that. It's like, yeah, dude, that's rough. He's like, what are you doing here? It's like, well, I live here. It's like, that arrangement's gonna change really soon. So there's Prinkles there. And Grand Oracle says that's par for the course for most cats, right? So Landrast, what movie did you see? Or actually, did you get a chance to see a movie tonight? I just figured it's Thursday. It's usually movie night. But I wasn't sure. Actually, I wasn't sure if you were going to be doing another RPG session again. Because I think you were able to do one of those, getting some of the extra folks involved. So you did just get back. So is it Dune 2 or something like that, Landrast? Because I seem to remember when I first started the streaming stuff, that was when they were working on Dune 1. So I think this was Dune 2. Thanks for doing the clip there, Bithron. Appreciate that. Oh, gee whiz. Whoops. That's a little more there. We'll just get rid of some of that. Take it and run down like so. Like this. Nope, gotta get a little more paint on the brush, I think. Just Friday night, hobby night. Has that Escalation League thing still been going for M-Tellies there? And has M-Tellies been doing his homework, so to speak, with his Shmoom Kings? So now we're gonna go back with the Indigo slash Mars Black here. A little more thinner into that. Now, I'm not looking to necessarily do a pinline wash here. I'm just looking to do something like that. Now, again, that other brush couldn't do what the liner brush just did. That's not what those things do very well. That is what this does. Well, it is really almost made for it. That's why they call it a liner brush. Work that in here. So yeah, we're going to just really kind of solidify some of these. There we go. And ironically enough, it takes less time to paint that than this. Why? Because almost a quarter of it, maybe 20% of it is orange. Stop participating. There's been some backslid. So does he need an intervention there, Landrast? A hobby intervention? Does he need to be lampooned and ridiculed mercilessly if he comes into the stream? Or put a Tomb King's curse on him, or put a hobby curse on him. There you go. Yes, the Hierophant is going to put a hobby curse on M-Tellies if he doesn't finish the Tomb Kings before he finishes the Marines. So all of a sudden, all of his dice roll nothing but ones. Yeah, that'll be the Tomb King's curse. Let me see if I can do the same thing on these other lines here. Yeah. See if I can work some of that down on these lines. this one too. There we go. Now we need to get ourselves some reflected light on this brazier. Again, these are some new ones. I actually printed out stuff from 4 different companies. I think I got to print out another one of this build plate actually, just to have some more of them. Mostly for the Tomb Kings, ironically enough. Oh yeah, I didn't hit this one over here. It was very scary, Vithron, because people, they would, that was the thing they were the most afraid of, is that I would like touch their dice or put some kind of weird Muju on them or something like that, because just being around their dice would be enough to cause some kind of harm. Yes, that's the last thing you want me to be, is anywhere near your dice. Well, that is if you ever wanted to be usable for rolling ever again. If you want to roll 1s when you want 6s and 6s when you want 1s, well, by all means, let me touch those dice. Let's see if I can't sharpen up some of these edges over here too. I think now I could start thinking about getting some lighter stuff here on the gold stuff, whatever that is. I do need to get my fast matte white back out here again though. Again, that is the stuff from Gamblin there. Let's see where we can put this. So it's going to be weird when people see this video and they're going to see all this stuff on the palette. They're going to say, wait a minute, where'd all this orange stuff come from? So yeah, Bithron, that is, well, I've said it before, right? That's what I loved about all of my different sports strategy games. They were a 3d6 curve. So rolling triple 1s was every bit as good as rolling triple 6s. Wow, look at the difference that makes right there. And of course, in bolt action, right, you don't want to see boxcars on morale tests. I could roll boxcars on 1d6 for a morale test easily. You say that's not physically possible. Armored Wolf would say you haven't seen him with dice yet. Armored Wolf can attest to this. Basically, anybody that's ever watched me play a miniatures game can attest to that. Now here again, I don't want to do just too much of this here because I don't want to lose the orange light there. Hey, Cheese Whiz, how you doing? But Cheese Whiz, the camera boom is kind of in the way a little bit. And I thought you wrote down "I see burning." I was getting a chuckle out of that. But now, watch what happens here, and we'll do a double dose of film noir on this here. So let's do the regular. Now, because this is so close, and we've seen this before, the proximity of this kind of, you see there's a little bit of source lighting there, but boy, it's a dramatic loss there, right? Okay, so kind of looking the same. Not really looking all that different there. Let's do this. Oh, wait a minute. What's going on there? Orange versus a bluish gray. This is dingy. It's a cooler color. It's much more dingy. High saturation color. Very, very warm. Don't have any of that here. Very different story, right? Glad that you're doing well there, Cheese Whiz. And of course, Cheese Whiz, if you want to post anything in the chat, everybody please give Cheese Whiz a follow. So Cheese Whiz, hopefully your weekend is looking good for doing some stuff. Let folks know maybe when you might be streaming also. But great to see you again, of course. Trying to get some of my light down in here, over there, and bingo, there, there, there. Okay, trying to get some edges on this here. Yeah, I feel like we got some there now. Doing the same over here. Now, if I wipe some of these away, some of them get wiped away, whatever. Let me see, let me go over there with the lighter light on the edge of that side. Some up here maybe, some up here. There too. Okay, a little bit up there. Yeah, along these lines too. Pick up a little bit more of this edge here. I want to go back to more of the yellow. Do I really want to mess with the... Okay, maybe I will throw a little something back in here. Also, shouldn't be too much of that. We'll do some of it in here. Maybe not so much where we've got the source lighting. What are we doing here? Yeah, let's stick with this kind of lighter yellow stuff here. Getting a little bit thinner into that. Now this again is where the liner brush is a huge help getting down into there. I wouldn't be able to do that with those other brushes that you saw, those foxbite ones. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to swing that here. How's about we? Yeah, we never really did get the light on that side. Let's do that one as well. I do have my white out. I'm going to see if I can get my... I got really light down in the fire here. Oh yeah, well that's definitely lighter. And it's almost a pin line wash. Remember, using something like the opaque white or whatever, you can thin the oils. You cannot dilute them. It's also in the book of Wauconda. And remember, Armored Wolf has been working on those fabulous stickers. Oh, wait a minute, look at that. Yeah, contrast, more than just light versus dark. That's truth right there. That is speaking the truth. So I just needed a drink of something there. So we're back to our lightest light. I'm going to try and do something here with the golds there, maybe. Something like that. Alright. I would suspect that the Saturday stream could also be a later start too. Don't be surprised if that happens. I just expect a lot of mayhem over the weekend and such. Alright, so yeah, that's really getting nice and sharp there. Again, want that edge contrast, which, while it's important for things like, well, let's say you want a blade, right, a sword, or some kind of metal surface to be sharp, well, the stone is pretty hard. It may not be sharp necessarily, but it is a hard surface, which means we're going to want some hard edges there. Let me see what we can do on this side. We did this on the back. Oh, also the gems here. Come on. There we go. Now I'm starting to like the way those are. Now, if you see the way these are painted, just the studio versions or whatever, there is no gold here or anything like that, so a little bit of a change from the studio version. See if I can get the light on top there. I can still go back with my not phthalo green. It's basically a color that I made. Prussian blue mixed with the Indian yellow. More than enough to create a very vibrant green. Now you see what I did there. Just taps out some dots, and then we take our blending brush, and we don't wipe them out completely, but we do cut down on those a little bit. So again, we're only just around the 2-hour mark here. Right, and we've done quite a bit with our object source lighting, right? We've got the glowing eyes there. And that's something I will be doing on this one. You can see that I kind of was setting that up a little bit there. So as far as doing film noir, that's something you can do with your camera. Just take your phone, take a picture. Every phone's got some kind of a little photo manipulation app on it. You can get in there and turn it into that sort of black and white, and that way you can sort of say, yeah, you know what, we may have some value contrast there, but we have Zippo, and then we have color contrast, so maybe we should try and do something there. Because that, again, I've done that for other folks. They want, say, critiques on their miniature or whatever, and all I do is just do some film noir. And usually they say, okay, enough said. Let me go work on this, and then they come back and we do another film noir. You get my light there, also there. Okay. What else do we have going on here? I might have to oh, that's what I might do. I come back and darken those up a bit, but first we wanted to get a little reflected something on here, and not necessarily the fire color either. I'm gonna maybe take this. I mean, it's got some orangeness to it, but it's almost more peachy than anything else. Let me try some more of this here. So a little bit of the radiant violet into that. Back to our blending brush here. And see, we just do a little bit of tap, tap, tap. Now it's got some, see, this is all just a solid kind of wall of dark there. We need some kind of reflected light there. And again, it's not necessarily firelight. Should probably do a little bit of it down there too. Again, just going to use the blending brush there. Same over on this side. Can I get a little bit more under here? I think so. Yes, indeed. Some over here. Now this is the interesting thing about this. This is actually 3 pieces. You got the base down there, then you got the actual brazier, and then the flame is also separate. It was nice because I could actually have it going away from the kitty. So again, I think this is probably going to be tomorrow night's stream. Let me get back to my bluish gray. Let me break some of this down. So I get reflected light there, maybe. Yeah, some of that on the gold here. Just taking some thinner. All that is a mix of the indigo and then some of our radiant indigo, which again is just ice blue. Gonna get some of that over here too. Yep, you know, a little of that, a bit more here. Let me try and get a little of that over here, and also maybe a bit of the indigo too. So let's try that here. Blending brush, scoot that down here. So set up a whole bunch of layers there, not doing the layer thing. Hashtag no layers, not with the oils anyways. So I don't know if folks, again, who watch the latest Patreon video saw just how many of those Eldar ships are painted now. There's a bunch of those. You know what, let's see. Maybe I will get a little bit of the dark there. This is another here on this side for sure. So I'm going to do this. And I'll take the blending brush here. I think you can see what I'm doing. And just yank that stuff down there. And try and work on some of these edges right here. Again, we can fix those up, change them up, have fun with them. Putting all kinds of neat little, again, contrasting colors in it, like all of this dingy, dark, grayish blue here. If it's supposed to be gold, it's supposed to be very reflective of everything that's around it. That's one of our Book of Wauconda sayings about doing metals. What is it? They reflect their surroundings. If you want to get those stickers, you can check out the Armored Wolf Productions Etsy page. Fabulous stickers there. And more have been made, so I believe there's actually 12 different Book of Wauconda sayings. Getting this down here. Little more over there. That should be maybe just dark. Also in between these two, that got a little thicker with the source light. Now let me see if I can go a little heavier on this now with the source lighting, because that has that's had a chance to set a little bit there. Some of the yellow here. No, I want that to turn green. Some of our orange here. Got the Indian yellow in there so that it doesn't get too peachy. Nope. Well, yeah, I'll just have to go back and get some more of the Indian yellow probably, but let's see what this does. I'm going to just break it down here a little bit more first. Sure enough, if I tried doing this 45 minutes ago, or even half an hour ago, nothing would have stuck there. But it does now. Boy, it makes a big difference, doesn't it? That will go on a couple of other places here, like this. Now, I noticed when I tried to do that a while back, it just nothing was sticking. That's where you just say, all right, enough fooling around with this. We got other things that we can work on. So there you go. See how that get closer we get to the light source here. More intense this all gets. Let's amp up this again a little bit more. Continuing to add this. Orange right there, that little kind of a yellowish orange. We'll lighten up these little guys here. So this terrain is from Marvel Crisis Protocol. You can see down in the lower corners there, especially the one on the lower right hand. There's two different sets of this stuff, and there's a set with the kitties. So you got a couple of big ones, and I think 4 small ones, something like that. Or there's 1 and 2 small ones, whatever. I should try and get some more of the orange all the way out here also on that. Hey there, Night Whisperer, how you doing? Everybody, please give Night Whisperer a follow. So Night Whisperer, I hope that all goes well. And of course, Night Whisperer, you want to share what you've been working on, please, like always, go ahead, do that. Oh yeah, so Landress, so I didn't get a chance to tell you that the printer is doing some new weird thing where it does all the usual kind of leveling the build plate, everything else, the preheating stuff, all of its usual sequences. Then it goes to print the calibration lines, and it does nothing because you can see that it's coming up a little bit short. It's not actually reaching the build plate, and then it won't print the calibration line, and obviously it's not doing any printing either. It goes through the motions, but nothing ends up on the build plate. So I'll try a couple of things after the stream tonight. Hopefully something works. Thanks, Night Whisper. Yeah, it's taken all of 2 hours and 8 minutes. When 2 hours and 8 minutes ago, it looked much more like this. That is what it looked like. It's going to be freaky painting that much bigger version potentially tomorrow on stream, well, no, it already is tomorrow. It is now March 1st. Okay. So happy March 1st. Which is also very scary. I'm sure, well, maybe more for some folks than others if they really got to get stuff done for Adepticon, I suppose. Here's hoping that everybody who's trying to do stuff for Adepticon is having success with that. Now, this needs to be, I think, definitely lighter. Right here, right by the torch. I just had to wait to do that because there was already a fair amount of the orange stuff here, and we had to, as always, we had to let that set for a bit. So get some more of the light along here. So everybody please check out the Instagram link that Night Whisper just posted. So Night Whisper, hopefully all is going well with, say, Adepticon type things. And of course, well, if you want to let folks know when the next stream might be. Where's my Oracle of the Flashlight here? Okay, so that does, I think some of that actually does work its way into there. Get a little bit more on the lower edge of that. And we need a little something more on the edge of that too. There we go. Okay, so definitely we build on this. Right, first we have to establish it. That was the very first thing we painted. We didn't paint anything anywhere else. The very first thing we did was the object source lighting. We didn't do it second or third or fourth or fifth. We did it first before everything else. Because, again, like we said, about 20% of this thing is orange. It has been faster painting this than it was to paint this guy, which has no object source lighting on it at all. So again, everybody please check out the link there that Night Whisper just posted. Touch of that on the kitty's snoot there. So Sunday night at 9. Yeah, Night Whisper, those color chart things, they are just, they show so much. It's incredible. And sometimes you get very unexpected results. Let me see, where's my little light here? Does it actually reach that? Ah, it does reach that. Okay. That tomorrow night stream also, I don't, well, I'm hoping it's not going to be as late as this one started, but that will not be a super early time tomorrow either. There's lots and lots of stuff to get through. Let me see if I can't lighten up the knee there just a smidge. Hey, Six-Cylinder Samurai, how you doing? This was done with oil paints right out of the tube. Now, we will break out the 3 brands here. There we go. So it's Windsor Newton, Gamlin, and Williamsburg. These two are pretty close, almost identical in price and quality. They're very good, solid stuff. The Williamsburg, when it says handmade, that's for real. That is for real. It also means a for real cost. It's going to cost a bit more. Hey there, Tiffany. How you doing? Thank you so much. It's always fun working with the source. And again, it doesn't matter what the color is. Sometimes it's blue here. We've certainly done magenta. Well, obviously, we did lots of that on the Star Wars-y type stuff here. So lots of different. We painted almost all the Shatterpoint stuff. Ooh, that's right. 2 boxes of Shatterpoint stuff showed up yesterday. So again, here's some green lighting right there. So yes, the Shatterpoint stuff. One of the Ewok boxes. And speaking of object source lighting, was his name General Grievous or whatever, right? With the 4 different lightsabers. That showed up yesterday. So glad that you're doing well there, Tiffany. And thanks again for joining us here. Appreciate that, of course. I think maybe the edge of that could be a little lighter. Let's see what we can do to sharpen that up a little. Maybe a little something here. Now on this side, over here, I'm going to actually try to do our cooler gray color here. There we go. Blending brush again. A little bit lighter there. We'll just chuck that on there and do the blending brush again. This is what's so fantastic about the oils, right? Hashtag no layers. We just chuck some stuff on there. Take Mr. Blending Brush. Gonna do that same deal right there. Yeah, let's do this one. One layer, no hassles. So we've got, there was this guy here. Right, and and that's with the cast shadows. Let's get some of the dust off of there. So yeah, I can see the fun cast shadows that get created by that. And here's our Tome Kings, right? Same deal there with the source lighting. Now, some of these. Oh, we got the candles. Where's our Padme one? So that was a bit more of a yellow light source right there.
Hello, little hobbits. Spark my ganja.
Thank you so much, everybody. Let's welcome in our newest file. That is Kistos. This, I think this is another one of those Morgoth statues. Like, who's Morgoth? It's like, well, he couldn't create anything, but he could, like, make things all twisted. It's like, dude, you smell weird. Another person getting on me about the pipe weed. Fine. He does smell weird. I think I have a contact high now. Thank you so much, Kistos. Appreciate that. And of course, well, here's our... we did a lot of that on our Tomb Kings. There's more of a greenish light right there. All the same principles apply. Now, of course, here's another one right here. This, again, more of a candle type of glow here. A little bit more of a yellowish glow, but set up the same way. The cooler, not so intense colors there, and then the warmer, very intense colors over there. So again, you have to have kind of both of those things working, right? Because, well, it's more than just light versus dark. Yep, Kistos, we just, actually, it was, well, I'm going to be starting an Eldar series on the Patreon page. We did all of these on stream right here. Here's some more. I actually have some videos of these on the Patreon page. This is one where we did the conversion of it and then all the painting of it. And of course, we have our vehicle painting series, and this was part of that too. So the kind of the same chapter there with the same style of freehand. And we've done two of these two vehicle series already. I'm hoping to be able to print out some Eldar vehicles, and then we can do some series on that. Thanks for doing the clip there, Bithron. Appreciate that. Speaking of vehicles, so that vehicle that's down there, I've got at least 4 of those that I have to paint. So we will also be doing some videos on those too. That'll probably be part of a vehicles workshop series. In fact, that's not possibly, that's a guarantee. Oh, thanks, Kistos. Appreciate that. And well, we've also done our chapter studies series. Well, we also, this is actually one of the latest ones that we did for the Patreon page. A little tiny bit of freehand on the cloak there, and obviously your gold metal. Oh, and here again, see all that red reflecting on the gold? Why? Because there's a red cloak right next to shiny gold. How would it not reflect on there? And then of course, well, we've done a whole series. I think we're on like 11 or something, 10 or 11. So yeah, we've done a whole bunch of Schmesh Marines there. Oh yeah, here's our Imperial Fist. Again, all done with the oil paints, start to finish, all done with the oils. Still putting in some of this lighter bluish gray in a few areas here. Oh yeah, we also have painted some Battlefleet Gothic stuff too, forgot about that. Just actually posted a video where I was painting Battlefleet Gothic stuff. That's on the Patreon page. It's the latest video. Although the new latest video will be this. Again, there was painting two of those using two different primer methods and two different painting methods. One, the sort of classic pre-glaze approach, and the other one going more with the darker primer approach, like what we did, say, with all of our Tomb Kings, and even a lot of the Bretonians. There we go. See, plop that light color on there. Blending brush, boom. Now, yep, Kistos, it's all oil paints. Now, this is it's a brand that I have used a little bit, but we're starting to add a few more of the Richesons, and of course, well, we did some of the, was it the CA Alkids? Did some of those too. Who knows? I might even be using some of these things in a video testing the new Alkid medium that I got. Don't be surprised if that happens. So yeah, we could be painting a bunch of these guys. Again, I have to get the texture here because it's actually sculpted into this. We need to have a little of the light there and maybe a teensy bit of it up here. And we'll touch a little more of our light there. We don't want to wipe out all the light. Again, whoops, that doesn't really go there. So that went a little sideways, no big deal. Let me see if I can get that line here. We need another one here. Maybe, yeah, let's get a little bit of our dark into this too. How's about some indigo? Some of that Mars black. That is really, 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 really dark, let me tell you. See if I can put that over here too. I think, yep, I'm going to rebuild that line a little bit. Get some of that down here. A little bit of a shadow on that. We see, and 2 hours and 23 minutes ago, it was basically just like that. It was just primer. That's all it is. It's nothing but primer. And well, we'll probably be painting this one tomorrow on the stream. Let me get some more. Here, some of this over here. Who knows? Maybe. Ooh, that would be interesting. Combine the vehicle painting series with the Alkids. That's something that could be interesting. I never did get the dark into here. Also, yeah, let's redo that line there, and then this one coming down here. Hey, there's surface tension. The surface, yeah, it is, and it even, they call them bast, right? So definitely very Shmoom King. Speaking of Shmoom Kings there, surface tension if you want to share your Shmoom Kings. Also, I don't know if you saw what the March release was looking like for Lost Kingdoms, but they're basically doing kind of the cavalry of that of the Cornish hens. So yeah, they got some Cornish hen cavalry there. So Kistos, there's yes, I have the YouTube channel. Actually, this is well, it was a Twitch session here. You can actually watch all of the old Twitch sessions. They're all saved as highlights, just like a YouTube channel. But there's a shortened version of this on the YouTube channel with all of the color transitions. Again, this was done with oils, just like we're doing here. And we've been also working on a whole bunch of stuff for our Bretonians. And well, here's another one of our recent vids right here. Again, all done with the oils. Everybody, please check out the link that Surface Tension just shared right there. Again, some fabulous oil painted miniatures too. Ah, that's good. That's good. Surface Tension. Yeah, they just earlier today sent out an email revealing what the new stuff was, and it is a whole bunch of cav. Thank you so much, Surface Tension. We could certainly do with a spot of medicine right now. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let's get some of our drugs around this. I had to wait for some of this to set first. There we go. I still have not had a chance to base the big snakes yet. I think yeah, I think I might have forgotten to print them. Maybe I did print that one. Oh, well, let's see. Maybe I did forget to print out that. I thought I made a build plate with the some of the basing bits from Titan Forge. Maybe I just never printed that out for some reason. Oh no, I did. I made it. It was right. It was too warm. That's what it was. Ah, there's a Smoom King's chariot on the desk, and that's the OPR one, right? I have to say the Titan Forge chariots they look pretty good. Obviously the Highland Miniatures chariots were the closest to the old GW ones. Vast improvement on them though, for sure, right? Where are they? Yeah, here's one of them here. So definitely a major improvement on the old GW chariots in every way, shape, and form. Ah, okay. I think actually, I think Titan Forge has one of those too. Well, their March release is that will be the last. Wow, that's right. We're gonna have to start printing out that stuff too. Let me see if I can get that dark right here. I don't remember what Printing Goes Ever On is doing for March. I was going to try and print out the boat until the printer went all wonky, but whatever. Here, let me do I want it? No, I don't need to get any of the orange lighting up here at all. Well, Keystos, I hope that is going well. We have a few, just a few things that we always follow with the non-metallic, especially its colors reflect their surroundings. So we showed this earlier, right? So that's shiny gold, and it's right next to a red cloak. Well, there better be some red there. Also, well, here, same thing, right? You see some of the turquoise is reflected on the gold. Here you got some orangey stuff to contrast with that. So you definitely need to have those reflections on your golds. And of course, where's our, here we go. So with this, the metal also reflects on itself. You can see we have kind of a sky-earth thing going on. Blue towards the sky, everything down here. Well, what's it reflecting? It's reflecting the ground. It's even reflecting the buildings around it. Thank you so much for 44 months there in Ganes. That's pretty much going almost back to the very beginning. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Boy, surface tension with that blue. Was it? Oh, the Endanthrin blue. And I also have I have the Gamlin version of that also. So I'm really looking forward to that. And guys, I hope that you're doing
So
well.
say we all.
Oh, thanks, Keystos. Appreciate that. That is very helpful. Thank you so much. Let me see. I think we have. Oh, well, here you go. Yeah, this has a little bit of some metal on it here, and you can certainly see that there's the blue reflected on there. Metals literally reflecting on metals. You got some greens, some oranges there. So it's almost it's a bit like a mirror. It's a little bit like a mirror. So hopefully that can kind of be a bit of a guide for you, right? And it's hopefully a nice little way to say, okay, yeah, this is what I need to do here, because like here, see, there's a little bit of that bluish gray. It's reflected on the gold because, well, I got this dark bluish gray right next to that gold. So really, there should be some kind of a reflection there. After a while, you just don't even start thinking about it. And again, yes, we got the YouTube channel there with lots of vids, and of course, again, you can see all the old episodes here. I save them all as highlights. Now I can't organize them into playlists like I can on YouTube. So what you do is just kind of look around for the thumbnails because I can do thumbnails, and that well you'll pretty much be able to see what it is you're wanting to look at. Hey Tien, nice to see you again. And oh, and actually so these little sconces right here, the braziers, I've got a bunch of those printed out. Surface tension. It's actually four different companies or whatever, 4 different sculptors. Now that's right, I gotta print out those Tomb King bits. That's right. I have to try and get that set up tonight after the stream. Surface tension, yeah, that's a. Ironically enough, he's a Mordor troll chieftain with an Easterling theme, of course. So yeah, it's actually a Mordor troll chieftain, but he's for my Easterling army. I know what Diwali is doing there. Ironically enough, they're doing the Dragon Emperor, and I think theirs might actually look the closest to the GW one. Of course, it's hilarious that GW has, well, changed the Dragon Emperor, and I'm sure people are not quite so excited about having him anymore like they were. Which, in some ways, it's kind of nice because maybe people won't say, oh, you're just playing Easterlings because of the Dragon Emperor. Of course, only been playing him since about 2005. That would be about, oh, I don't know, 11 years, no, about 9 or 10 years before there ever was a Dragon Emperor. Let's see if we can cut a little bit into this here. So there. Where's my, whoops, I don't really have too much in my green. I'm going to take that and a little bit of my yellow, and we will manufacture a relatively intense darker green. Again, that's the Prussian blue, a little bit of the Indian yellow there. Of course, surface tension, needless to say, there was a little bit of a confrontation between this guy and Prinkles, because Prinkles thinks that this is just a one kitty universe. It's, well, a little bit like some of the confrontations, right, with, speaking of kitties, all of these guys that we did from Titan Forge, we did 3 of those. Remember, different weapons, hand weapon, bow. This is some of the basing bits that I have set up to print.
So say we all.
Oh, thanks. Oh, AD Creations gets a gift sub from Grand Oracle. Oh boy, Grand Oracle says, you missed the train. The hype train is long gone. Here, I know. I think you were trying to get that in. Let's. We got new batteries in here. Let's use the new batteries there. There it is. There's the hype train. Look out. All aboard. Wow, that sounds a lot louder. Look at how fast that's moving. Holy smokes. Sorry about that, Grand Oracle. Um, oh, you're using the AMS. That's interesting because I never did set that up. All right, well, Keystos, yeah, it's 120 here, so I'm sure it could be 220 there if you're on the Eastern time slot there. But thank you so much. Thank you for the sub too. Appreciate that. And well, I'm hoping again to be painting this much bigger version tomorrow. Well, later tonight actually. Yeah, ETN, I think you were here right when we had the level 12 hype train that quite literally wiped out the battery. Yeah, it just went, and I mean it literally just went like that. It just kind of went, and it basically slowed down to nothing. And that was the end of the hype train. And then I went and bought a bunch of C batteries for it, only to find out that it takes AA batteries, of which I have many, many here already. So we'll have to find some use for the C batteries. Now, is that... Okay, yeah, those are as big as I thought they were. Let me get some of the orange out here. Uh, get some of that right back here. Ironically enough, it's going to darken some things down and lighten other things up. This needs a little clean up here. See what's happening with that. It's a little too sharp of a line there. We're also going to make that not quite so bright there. Let's see if I can sneak in maybe a little of an orangey red there. A little bit more light over there. So again, just 2 hours, 37 minutes, all that it's taken here. See if I can get some dark back into this. And I might, yeah, let's just do the Van Dyke Brown. We'll better break this down some more. There, yeah. And we'll sharpen up some of these edges, especially the ones right here along the edge. This one too. So I hope that the painting goes well, of course. Sorry if I didn't ask sooner. Maybe that's too dark there. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. Since I did not put these together, I'm still kind of finding out what these different surfaces are. Typically, that's something I always do, is put the stuff together myself just for that very reason. However, that was not possible here. Just chucking in some of the shadow in here. Definitely got to do that on this. For the most part here, it's just some Van Dyke Brown. And that was a little more than I wanted right there. Alright, we'll do this down here. I'm going to lighten this up a bit more too. Like that. Did I get... I didn't really get the Van Dyke Brown into the shadows there. I think we did that over here. Yeah. Let's darken this too. Also sharpen that. Got my, keep wanting to say fast matte white. That is not. That is our basically sort of radiant type color there. Kind of mix it with the indigo. I don't think I'm going to be hitting this with my hand quite as much as I was before. I'm looking to maybe do a little bit of reflected light down there. Yeah, why not? A little more over there. Get the light on the edge of that. Oh, not too much on this. We don't want to lose our light effect there. This, ironically enough, is sort of reflecting the color of the kitty over there. What about this? Do I want to add any more light there? I don't think so. I might try to get a little more here. Also some texture. Because there's actually a lot of texture on the kitty here. This could, there we are. Let's drag that down there a little bit. And some of that over here. Do we need any? Yeah, let's get some light on these guys here. I had thought about doing those also in some kind of gold, but, well, there's only so much time. That is something that we cover in the army painting series quite often, where it's, well, I'd really like to do this, this, and this thing. And then you say, okay, well, I don't have 17 years to paint this army, so maybe we don't do all those things. Blending brush here, I think. That was something I just needed to simplify that. Now you can see again, this is the segment I still have to film yet. Remember when we were doing all our little elves and everything, and you could see the difference, right, in between when we had ones at various stages. So I do think, yeah, I think we got some decent glowy stuff happening there on his eyes. That's what we'll also be doing with that other one too, is creating that glow effect just in the eyes. So here I've actually just had to restore with the paintbrush. There is literally no line there for me to paint. It's just all torn up. But I think we were able to get that repaired. Now let me see if I can use... It's been long enough. I think we'll be able to get just our floral orange here on the end of the flame. Yes, we can. That's actually going to make that even more atomic, if you can believe it. It's going to get more intense. There we are. Yep, so that is even a more intense orange now. And again, there's no weird camera effects or anything like that. Sometimes you see that with pictures of stuff where it's, well, they're really not that much of an object source landing effect. They just have a really dark background. And everything is very, all of the not the saturation, but all the contrast is turned way up. No, that's all the paint. There's no weird effects or anything like that there. Don't need to use those, not with the object source lighting. Here, let me soften that just a tiny bit there. Everybody, please check out the Storm Giant that Etienne posted there. So Etienne, I hope that was really, really fun. That was that. Was it a GW one or was it a 3D printed one? I can't. Unfortunately, I can't remember. My apologies. You know what? Let me here dive into some of this. Got a little bit of the thinner on there. Trying to get a little orange right there, and maybe some of that here too. Touch more of it here. Yep, and just almost kind of stippling this on here. Oh, from Lord of the Print, okay. They do have some very dramatic scopes, that's for sure. They do some really, really nifty stuff. There we are. Now, I guess, well, you don't need any calf surface tension for your Cornish hens, do you? Because I really did, it does look, you know, obviously everything that they do is pretty much for AOS because trying to rank up those corn guys in that tutorial video, that was difficult to say the very least. That was difficult in the extreme. So now we're getting a little bit of orange on our gold right there. Let me get my flashlight to see if. So there is a little bit of that on this side of his face. Not very much, but a little bit here. That sounds fantastic. Yeah, OPR really does some nifty stuff, don't they? Now, I actually surfaced in. I looked to see if OPR had any Eldar basing stuff. Still got to look and see what Titanforge has in their sci-fi realm for Eldar basing bits. Haven't had a chance to do that yet. The FDM printer sadly has entered into the realm of causing issues. Let me see if I can get a little more of the orange there on the kitty's face. Maybe I should be doing that with the liner brush, but I'm also trying to test the limits of these. Yeah, these are just synthetic brushes. They're from Foxbite. So well, that's good surface tension. Obviously, I don't, not doing the Patreon thing with them just yet. Who knows? Maybe we do it for that one. I don't know. Is that going to maybe be March or April? Okay, so, well, I guess it could be March.
So say we all.
Thank you so much, Arid. I hope that the stream was fun there, Arid. That's 28 months worth. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And everybody, please give Adepticon Wife a vote. Of course, Arid, if you want to post your usual Pinterest links there, please go ahead. So again, everybody, please give Arid a follow. As we welcome in Cat Master. Hey, Digital Dak, nice to see you too. It's been a little while. Great to see you back. And it's great to see you there, Cat Master. Hopefully everything goes well. Hopefully Adepticon stuff has been getting done. Hey, nice to see you there, Gun Shrimp. So actually, well, speaking of Adepticon, so this is the Marvel Crisis Protocol terrain. I have to paint a bunch of this for Adepticon because they're running that short. They have so much terrain to paint. They just said, hey, could you paint some of that? So I have, I've even been doing it in some painting videos. So yes, we are going to be painting a whole bunch of this stuff on stream there. So thank you so much, Guntrip. Appreciate you being here. And everybody, please again give Catmaster a follow, and of course, Arid again. If you want to post anything in the chat, please go ahead. Now let me get some more of my orange over here, like this. Now, ETN, hopefully you can have a blast at Adepticon. Hopefully everybody can. Yeah, we're just trying to work in a little bit more of the orange here. So Irid, hopefully the sinus infection is that's going away. So I felt like I needed to get a little more orange over that. It was a bit too yellow for something that far away from where our little fiery source is there. Again, usually not working with things like this, these little short, stubby brushes like this. Prefer the
Hello,
liner
little
brush.
hobbits. Spark my ganja.
Thank you so much, Gun Shrimp. I appreciate the follow. So does Gandalf, of course. And he says, "Ah, I see you have on-camera light sourcing. Ah, I see you've been at the pipeweed again." Like, seriously, dude, everybody just ease up on the pipeweed stuff. It's like, dude, man, I mean, you are totally rank with pipeweed. That's not me, it's the hobbits. There's like 4 of them around me. They're smoking all the time. Bad influence. But you're supposed to be a Maiar. Thank you so much for that follow, Gunshrimp. Appreciate that. And nice to see you, Space Toy. Thank you so much, Gunshrimp. Yeah, we've, well, in addition to being a cavalry channel, a Lord of the Rings channel, and a freehand channel, it's also an object source lighting channel of all kinds. I mean, here we've got some magenta lighting right there, and of course, well, all the Shatterpoint stuff has been, of course, a nice little mechanism for even more of the source lighting. Hey there, Cat. Nice to see you. I think he's very stoned, right? Right, surface tension. Oh, here we go. Here is. We've been doing a ton of Tomb King stuff. There's a nice little bit of greenish glow. So it is the original metal Cetra chariot, and then these are 3D printed from Titan Forge here. Ah, that's fantastic, Gun Shrimp and Space Toy. If you want to share any links there in the chat, please go ahead. Everybody, please check out Space Toy stuff. So this is from Marvel Crisis Protocol. This is again for Adepticon, and we have tons of these to paint. We actually will be painting this much bigger version on our next stream. Well, later today, for sure. And well, here again, this is our latest YouTube video. We've been doing tons of Bretonian stuff. Again, all done with the oil paints. This is there's a shortened version of this up on the YouTube channel. Lots of Make It Epic basing bits here, and then my own homemade flower shrub tufts. This video is also up on the YouTube channel. This is another Twitch session here. Lots of little freehand bits right there. Again, more Bretonian stuff. Here's the first of our Pegasus nights. We will be doing more of these, so that was fun. Again, a little bit of freehand on him as well. That is from Highland Miniatures. Another 3D print there. Well, that'd be fine. That'd be fine, Space Toy. Oh, actually, again, this was our latest 2D art stream. So normally on Thursdays we're painting 2D art. This is what we did last Thursday, but I do think a lot of our streams now are going to be dedicated to getting this stuff done here. Thanks, Space Toy. Appreciate that. And we will be painting some of the vehicles too. We'll be painting some of those. So some of them on our Patreon stuff, but also here I think on the channel too, as best as we can. So I'm gonna here. Let me push back to the. Here, let me get this off of that brush. Might even mix a little bit of our Perline red with that floral orange. So Space Toy, great to see again, of course, and I hope that everything is going really well. And again, yeah, actually, Cap, I noticed. I think did she try streaming the other day? Because I didn't see her on the list of people streaming tonight, and I was a little worried, saying, "Boy, it's been a while for that internet to still be messed up." So we'll say well hello to and just in case maybe Kaylee is listening. Everybody also please give Kaylee Larson a follow too if you could. So there's an Instagram link there by Space Toy. Everybody please check out some really fabulous painted miniatures there by Space Toy. Please go check that out if you could. Alright, a little more over here maybe. So some oil painted that work there by Space Toy. Everybody please check that out. Yeah, it sure sounds that way, Catmaster. And you need, well, to do this kind of stuff, right, you need yourself some hefty internets. Yeah, you're not just doing that on your phone. That's not going to work so well. So again, everybody please check out what Space Toy posted to be like ETN. Check it out and say lots of kind words too. Again, we're just working at, and they'll get the difference, right? All those cooler, dingier colors there. And then it gets into the really, really super saturated colors here. Again, all done with the oil paints. Again, less than 3 hours ago, there was no paint on this ombre whatsoever. And that's how we're going to get a bunch of these done. Fire in a little bit more of our orange over there. Also on these guys down here. Yeah, I need to get some of the brighter orange in that. Start breaking some of that down. Here. Nope, still too much on that brush. I could see a big old blob sitting on there. Well, Catmaster, but before you know it, obviously, too, your hands have to cooperate, right? They don't always want to cooperate. It would help, too, if they would be a little bit more cooperative. But eventually, you just start to find some various methods and ways to kind of cut down on some of the time. That also needs to be a much brighter orange over there. And I might need to catch a little bit more of the reflected light down this way. And as long as you're painting right, that's all that matters. That's the big key thing. Gotta keep on painting. Even as much as the oils do for us, the miniatures still do not necessarily paint themselves. Hey, Russian Blue Art, nice to see you again. Happy Friday. Appreciate you being here as always. When in doubt, add some dark. That's what we're gonna do here. A little bit of the indigo, some of the Mars black here. Now, Etienne, hopefully that bodes well for getting all of your Adepticon stuff done. There we are. A little more of our dark there. What's happening here? Let me get the little bit of dark restored there just to get some extra contrast with all the orange. Hey, Crypt Shadow, nice to see ya. So Russian Blue, I hope that you do well. Same thing there, Crypt Shadow, nice to see ya. I did get the dark up in there, okay. Did I also do that here? Looks like it. I think we're all good to, here, let me, there were a couple of our lines here that got a bit verschmizzled. Let's try to unverschmizzle those. And then we got some of these little chips and chunks taken out of it here. Let's maybe enhance those a little. Okay. And the fountain things here, we got some of those that we need to paint. So again, don't be surprised if we're painting a bunch of that stuff here on the streams as things move along here. And again, Cap, if you wanted to share anything in the chat, please go ahead, do that. Everybody, please give Capmaster a follow too. I will, yeah, let's do the darks on these side where that's essentially kind of casting a shadow down over there.
Little hobbit, spark my ganja.
As we also welcome in our newest little hobbit. Thank you so much, Chronic. I appreciate that. It's like, wow, you smell better than the last guy. It's like, oh, that was Gandalf the Grey. That's what they used to call me. I think it was more like they called you Stoner. Yeah, it was your. Look who's talking. Boom. Well, that wasn't very nice. So, thank you so much, Chronic. Appreciate that follow. Wow, that was usually it's Saruman that's dropping the dad humor on somebody there, but that was Gandalf doing a little bit of a dad humor bomb right there. So everybody, please check out that Instagram link there by Capmaster. Here, let's do some more stuff there. So again, I hope everybody is able to get all the stuff that they want to do for Adepticon finished. Now, I know that there's a X amount of stress and everything kind of associated with that. But here's hoping it can still be fun also. Let's see if I can't also maybe get some of my lighter yellow here that's also not quite so greenish. Yeah, I think, I guess it is. Well, it's certainly not a blue wizard thing. Not that we've seen any blue wizards around, have we? Yeah, well, not sure what happened to the blue wizards. Nah, that's still too chunky right there. We're gonna try and cut that down a little bit. Nope, I'm actually gonna use some of it over here just to get some of that off the brush. Now we'll come back to it over here and see if we can get a little bit more of the yellow in a couple of spots here. Get some down here. Also there. So Russian Blue, glad that you're here, of course. It was a bit of a later start today. There's another little bit of light we need to get there. Now that can't all just be that dark. We're going to have to do a little something here to get some light there. Also up here. See if I can't get rid of that little bit. Okay, good. There we are. Now over here, gotta do the same thing. We have all this really light stuff there and then all this dark right next to it. That doesn't make much sense if this is round. That starts to make a little more sense now that that is that light. Now we're going to darken this down actually. Little, here's some of our Terrarosa. That is going to be too dark. I'm going to back away from that and try this. Okay, that's about what I need. And we're just going to let that blend with what's here. And it's just like the other oranges that are there. Okay. That is, yeah, that's better. Let's see if I can come back with some of this here lighter stuff again. And put a little bit of edge right there and a touch more right there. Now I'm going to take the Van Dyke Brown. And we'll say goodnight to Etienne. Thank you so much, Etienne. Again, thanks for being here. And here's just hoping you get all your Adepticon stuff finished. I guess I think that's it. Well, oh geez, wait a minute now. Of course, if it's plant-based, I wonder if Radagast might also be under the influence. We haven't seen Radagast yet, so who knows? Maybe he is also under the influence of it. Of course, if that's the case, then that means that Guahir's going to be getting a contact high also. And yes, I still do have that Radagast writing on Guahir to paint. Let me do a little bit more of that light there. Also over here. Something like that. What else are we doing here? We're going to get some more of our darks lined up there. There's, again, some other little kind of chips and stuff taken out of the statue over here, so we're going to get some of those. Any more of our dark that needs to go there? I don't know, but we do need some over here. We've been doing all of the recesses there. Now I feel like I need to do a couple areas here where it's also to some shadow from the firelight. Well, I guess who knows what he's stashed in that area, right? Right, Grand Oracle. So let me see. I think it's GWAHIR. I believe that's how it's spelled. I could be wrong. Actually, I need to get Radagast painted up because we would like to try a Vanquishers list or a White Count. Basically, it's a White Council list versus the Dol Guldur stuff. Yeah, no, well, actually, and actually, Bithron, I don't know if you heard about the changes that they made to Dol Guldur. I think you heard me talking about those. That now Sauron, if there is something he can charge, he has to charge. I believe that's how it is. He has to charge that now. Which means you can just keep baiting him with nobodies. If anything, you're making him use a point of will every single turn just because he's in combat. That also means that he can't be right up next to everybody and using his one-shot thing. right? Where he wounds you and you lose, you're just dead. Doesn't matter if you have 10 wounds. Well, see you later there. See you later, Catmaster. And hopefully you can see you at Adepticon. The Catmaster, there will be no resting or recouping. there will be that's going to be the anti that. There will be very, very, very little sleep leading up to Adepticon, that's for sure. Hopefully more sleep for you, though. So yeah, Bithron, they just changed that. That was part of the FAQ stuff that they did. I mean, they needed to do something with that. Now at say lower points levels, maybe lower than 800, it was somewhat mitigated, but at anything over 800, they were basically unstoppable. Do I want to use it? No, we'll just use this one here again. So we're going to do a little bit of reflected light here. You see, we just take that, right, and we just take that and pull that up this way. We're going to mute this a little bit here, just a touch. And we'll do some of that over here. Gonna switch gears back to the darker stuff now. No, that now again, didn't put these together, so I couldn't do anything about that gap that's in there. That's okay. Trying to get these little gemstones situated here. This also needs some simplification here. That got very, very complex. Also, it just needs to be darker like that. Yep. So that kind of shows some of this shadow cast by the light here. Thanks for showing up, Surface Tension, as always. Appreciate you being here. And here's hoping that the last of the Cornish hens go very well, and that the chariot is also just as fun as the other Shmoom Kings. So yeah, that's why he's sick and tired of being his personal Uber, right? Because how many times does he keep having to give Gandalf a ride here or there or somewhere? And let's do the little bit of that over here. Now, no orange getting out here. Our Grand Oracle of the Flashlight shows that. Now, it does actually show. I think I might get a little touch of our orange over here hitting this one edge. Those little flashlights, just get them on Amazon. It's usually a package of 40. What's nice is there's the red one, there's the green one, there's a blue one, and a white one. And if you want to kind of get an indication of what you need to do for your object source lighting, well, all you have to do is just shine the light on there. Obviously, you could take a picture of it too, and now you would quite literally have a photo reference of your object source lighting. I would imagine that some folks could find that useful. And again, they're very cheap. They're just a few bucks. Actually, the white ones don't work too badly as flashlights. They're very tiny, so you can just have it in your shirt pocket even. They're also kind of handy. Let's say you drop, inevitably you drop some kind of a part on the floor. And actually they're kind of small enough to really get down on the floor and look around inevitably for the part that fell. Let me look at my flashlight here. So there is here. Let me get a little more of the orange on that. Maybe a smidge more of that over here. Now we either need to make that darker. I'm gonna, well, when in doubt, make things darker. Let's do that here. We'll just take some of this and rebuild that line there. Okay. Also this line here, and maybe even a little bit of shadow cast by our kitty here. Hey Woodsies, how you doing? Nice to see you again. I hope that you're doing well. Thanks for being here. Yeah. Again, this is another thing where this got kind of torn up in whatever process of putting this thing together. And I didn't put these together, so not sure what might have happened there. So Woodsies, what kind of stuff are you doing there? Hopefully you've had a bunch of fun minis that you could paint lately. Yeah. Actually, that's not as light as I thought it was going to be. We have a fair amount of light there already then. Yeah, we can't really not do too much with the light there. This also thinking kind of a shadow here. And that is also really torn apart there, so not much for me to work with. I'm going to go back all the way to our not white here. Yeah, let's get some of these edges. We can kind of do that right here. It's a little too wide there. Get this one. I think this one also needs a little attention there. A little more of our light there. So some Smurfs, but most importantly, some Gondalorians there. Well, that's fantastic, Woodsies. So a Storm Raven. Oh my gosh. I know there's a Storm Eagle. Was the Storm Eagle the was that the Forge World one? Because well, we had to paint 2 of those. No, 4 of those. So I think it was the Storm Raven. Might be the plastic one, and the crazy Forge World one. That might have been the Storm Eagle. So Woodsies, are you doing just kind of the bog standard color scheme on Gondor there, or can you do some do something a little bit different? So Woodsies, we're keep making more progress on painting one of every single army of Middle Earth. More and more and more of those get painted. A little more light on the edge of that too. There we go. Actually, we were. Do I have any of them here? I don't have any of our elves out here. That's. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I have some of the ones that are just kind of in wintry with the snow on them. I don't see them here. Well, that's good. Actually, now, Woodsies, if you got any photos of the stuff that you're working on there, you want to share those, please go ahead. I might even throw a little bit of that light on the edge of his. Can't like maybe that's a little bit broken away there or something. Let me see if I can get the light on the top of this again without doing too much. There should be some here. I'll just leave that maybe the way it is. I was gonna try and get some more of my darker kind of orangey stuff in there. I'm not sure that would even read very well. Let's see what a little film noir shows us here. So that is interesting. Again, the only reason it really looks like there's object source light is because it's so darn close. Thank you so much, Diadems. Appreciate that. I hope that you are also doing well as we bring back that color. Thank you so much. Oh boy, that medicine's running mighty low there. So Diadems, thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. You can see the difference, right, with the stone being made the same color, but boy, look at the difference that that orange makes. Thank you so much, Grand Oracle. Appreciate that. So hope you didn't mind that we just whoops. Hope you don't mind that we did did the hype train anyways, because well we I think it was well there was extenuating circumstances, right? A little bit of hopefully that AMS jam is also taken care of. So thank you so much for the bits there. Appreciate that. I think I might get a little bit more of the light up there on the top of his tail. Let's do something down here. Maybe we'll try and get a little bit more of the light in over there too. We got the orange light there, kind of again casting on the edge of that, but we should get some a little more dark there too. Back to our indigo and black mix here, like so. Also there. I was in the extruder, okay. Now, Grand Oracle, wish me luck that I can find whatever these, oh gosh, you said it was 3 bars or something like that. So there's 3 rod areas where the rod meets the build surface. There may be some debris there. I'm not really sure. You may not know what, may not have known what I was actually talking about there. Hey, Peace Talker, great to see you again. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. So Woodsies, you can shoot me an Instagram message if you want. I'm just Wapelius on Instagram. So that's one place you can shoot me the message. Thanks, Grand Oracle. Well, like I said, if anything, when I send Hank the pictures of these, I can say, okay, if you want the rest of them, you got to help me figure out this printer thing if it's need be. So Woodsy, if you want to post any, if you want to just, if you got an Instagram link or something like that, if you want to just share that in the chat. Let's darken that up a little bit more there too. This is another one. We're just gonna get that edge straightened out there. Same over with this too. Well, I think I might have wiped away the lighter stuff that I might have done there. Okay, we're back to that not radiant color. I'll do that here, over here. There as well. See if I can't get the edge of this with this lighter. Again, there's really light gray here. Yeah, I think what I've done is probably wipe that away with my hand a couple of times. You know what? Let me see what happens if I use some of this down here. Also over here. And bingo there. So everybody please check out that Instagram link that Woodsy's just posted. As we also welcome in Denethor. Denethor, if you wanted to share anything in the chat too, please go ahead. He says, you know what? Instead of having all that weird, you know, Iron Gate stuff, what if we had a bunch of these? I bet you the orcs would have been terrified of those. It's like, oh man, orcs, they almost smell as bad as that old guy. Actually, they smell worse than the old guy. So you don't really like the old guy either, do you? It's like, he doesn't exactly agree with me. It's like, I find him disagreeable too. Oh, I see you have some fire there. How convenient. Thank you so much, Denethor. Appreciate that. I hope that you're doing well. Happy Friday to you there. So Denethor, actually, I was filming a video with two of these right before the stream. Still have to finish it off. You can see on the collar there and the glowing eyes. That's kind of the last big thing that I have to do on this one here. So Denethor, if you wanted to post any of your stuff there in the chat and let folks peruse that, please go ahead. I might. I wonder if I've also wiped away some of them. I don't think so. Maybe I haven't wiped those away yet. So yeah, I didn't realize that these were also part of the stone stuff and not, well, whatever the gold stuff is here. Now, yep, Denethor, all of these things are for Adepticon, all this Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff here. I've got everything you see in this image here. I've got, well, multiples of it. I think I have either 8 or 10 of these little guys. I have 4 of these bigger guys. I got, I think, 4 of the trees. Do I have one of the trees sitting out here? I think I used to. Don't have one right now. Thanks, Armored Wolf, for posting a link to the YouTube channel. Again, that is some of the Twitch sessions. Go there. I could just kind of truncate them a little bit if it's well, if it could be a 5-hour session or even, well, this one's what, 3 hours 27 minutes. I still cut it down to about 2-ish hours. So yeah, all of the stuff in that picture over here, those crazy little fountain things, I've got at least 4 of those to paint. I think there's 4 of the tree stands to paint. Well, you'll be seeing it on the Patreon page. Again, I was filming the first video. But what I want to do is, well, there's going to be one where we're experimenting with the new alkyd medium. There's going to be another one where, and that was one where we did the gray primer and pre-glaze versus this, where it was more like our darker primer, right, and then do the dry brushy stuff over it. It's the first time I've ever done that side by side on the same video. So I think you'll find that interesting. Again, that'll go up on the Patreon page tomorrow. I do think you'll find that somewhat interesting. Because we've never actually seen, obviously I've done them a couple of times in different ways, but never in the same video or even the same stream. I'm going to try and get me a little more light on this thing here. Maybe a touch more on the paws down there. Do I want that to get that light? Let me take away some of the paint there. Okay, I don't mind a little bit there. What do we do on there? Okay, with that kitty, or that eye. So Denethor, these are a whole bunch of bits. Do I have... No, I don't. Unfortunately, I don't have the little thing that has all of them. I printed out a bunch of these. Yeah, now there's some of these that don't have any flames, and I will also kind of show how we can obviously paint the flames in there, or sculpt the flames in there, just like we did with all of our Dunlendings and Wolves of Isengard. me see if I can't get a little more of the reflected light here on some of our golds. Just going to pop that in there, grab this here blending brush, and then just push that around. So yeah, just added this little brazier right there because that is not part of the terrain piece. Because I thought it could be really interesting to show that, and it should be relatively durable. I don't think that will break off too easily. So I tried to choose ones that were a little bit stronger. Maybe this one might be a bit vulnerable if they just let it bounce around inside those totes. But if that happens, oh well, nothing I can do about that. Here's some more of, again, a little bit more of the lighter stuff here, where we've got these kind of some pock marks. I don't think I'm even gonna. I was gonna get some more fast matte white out there and do some more there, but probably not. Look at this, right? We caress it, but we don't crush the brush. None of this, because first of all, it's hard to reach the miniature that way. They don't get painted terribly fast either when that happens. But here again, sometimes our hand is closer to the back of the brush than to the front of the brush. Here, let me get back to my reference image here real quick. I don't need the reflected light there so much. Again, with this casting the shadow over here. So when we do this one, the approach will be the same. But literally in the first 15 minutes, Denethor, all of the object source lighting was mostly established, and obviously we'll do the same thing here. It's the very first thing we will do is hit the object source lighting there. And I think I've got 2-3 more of these with the little braziers there. Okay, here, let me hit this and this, and blending brush here. So you can see no layers needed there. Thank you so much, Bithron. Appreciate that. Sorry, there's been a bunch of clips. There's a bunch of clips tonight. There it is, and a little bit down there. So that's kind of reflecting again this onto there. We'll do that again over here. Again, no layers, right? I just plop some of that light gray there, and we're just going to take this blending brush and we will just push that around. So again, makes it nice and easy. Let's not make it difficult. Let's make it easy there. Now with Denethor, I've got the Marion Street oils here, but my preference is always for the ones that I mix myself, because they tend to be, well, they dry definitely faster. They also tend to be a little more opaque for whatever reason, which is weird. They really shouldn't be, but they are. So I would prefer to use my own hand-mixed fluorescents, but I just have not had time to do that. Now, we did do, I did mix the, the interference colors for the bugs, for the Tyrannid series. Yeah. And that was pretty fun to be able to mix them. I was using the whatchamacallit containers. They're the nail polish containers. And I think I'm going to get a little more of that reflected light color on the bottom. Then again, take the blending brush to it here. I think this is the last one that we haven't gotten with this little bit of the lighter gray here. Again, just let all that get blended together. Nice and easy there. What are we gonna? Maybe we'll get a little bit more of the reflected light here on the gray there, especially over here. I think further away from the light source. Don't mind doing that. Closer to the light source, not so much. Yeah, Denethor, we've done a bunch of film noirs on this, and if it wasn't for this thing, putting a little bit of extra lighter color here on the leg, it wouldn't look any different in film noir mode than this one right here. So that's a film noir has value. That's why we try to do that. Speaking of value, I need to maybe. I don't know how light I would want to make this, but well, didn't need that right there. We'll just get that out of there. Okay, a little bit more there. I might also throw, yeah, that's just too much of the flat dark. I'm gonna try to go a little more with the. Oops, that's a little too much. We'll back away from that a bit. Let's try this again here. All right, yeah, that works. We need to get a little more of the lighter, or at least mid-tone here on the ear. Now up here, we're leaving that in shadow, right? Because we have to have that light, then dark, then light again. And I think you can even see it here. Yeah. See where there's that kind of darker zone of transit, light, then dark, and then it gets back into the ambient light. You can see the color difference there, right? Orangey, and that is more of a magenta right there. And again, the way the light focuses here, even that is cooler, bluish gray. Same thing with the floor, right? We have the cast shadow here. So that's another thing to think about when you got the object source lighting, is you got to think about some cast shadows. If that light is that intense, how is it not casting a shadow? Now, actually, Denethor, I have General Grievous now. So the guy with the four different color lightsabers. So I believe that might be our next Shatterpoint video. And I also have the one of the Ewok boxes, so maybe we'll paint some of those up on stream.
Hello, little hobbits. Spark my ganja.
And thank you so much, Dice. I appreciate that. No shortages of Gandalfs here. It's like, that is a rather large kitty. Actually, kind of a statue here. It's like, wait. So we have statues of cats. I'm not seeing any statues of horses on this channel. I would call that an insult. Yes, I would definitely take that as an insult. It's like, dude, don't get him all riled up. I'm still riding him, man. Thank you so much, Dice. Appreciate that. Hey, Arasu. Great to see you again. So Arasu, hopefully, she's been able to continue her alpine experiences there. What is it, 300 meters? Yeah, that's actually, I think in Norway they might just call that a large snow pile. And of course, we know how tall 300 meters is, but gee whiz. So great to see you again there, Aratu. We're painting up some Marvel Crisis Protocol terrain for the Adepticons there. Basically got 2 tables worth of it to paint. we've got all the stuff you see in that lower right-hand corner there. Got the vehicles, the trees, we got the fountains. So and I'm gonna try some different things in some vids. We'll also be painting some of it on the streams too. Yeah, so great to see you there again, Aratu. Here, let me do a little bit more with this. So something tells me that, well, I don't think tomorrow night's, or well, later today. I don't think our start is going to be as late as this one, but I'm thinking probably not before 10 Central, as there's so much stuff that has to be done. I know that makes it a little bit difficult for the folks on the East Coast there in that Eastern time zone. Doesn't necessarily make it all that easy for all of us in the Central either, but sorry about that. Thanks for doing that clip there, Bithron. Again, I know there's been a lot of them. I think we're up to about, what, six or at least six now, maybe seven. Heck, maybe even eight. I will, yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup here, maybe with some dark. Here, let's do this. Let's do some darker edges there. Now, right through it, I'm guessing that you haven't had really any kind of time to be doing any painting or anything. But maybe, oh no, maybe you actually have. I guess that's the next question is you got to introduce, right, the person to miniatures. Now, Bithron, I guess, well, I just, I know what you mean about the hot wire stuff and really generating some of that black smoke really quickly. Here's hoping that you'll be able to cut some of that stuff up. That is what I really do like about the pink foam, because it's a little bit easier to cut through that when it's thicker than if it has the foam core paper on the other sides. I know that does give it some stiffness for sure. Hopefully it wasn't too difficult carving all of the tile texture into it also, because I saw you had done that on a couple of the pics there. Well, hopefully the deadline was achieved. That's another instance where, yeah, I'm going to take some of this, mix it maybe with we got some of the violet over there. It's the radiant violet. I think, well, and she's, I guess Bithran, of course, now if you're using the 2-inch thick pink insulation foil, that can get really, really pricey. I keep forgetting if the black foam core is really that much different in price. Then though, I'm sure it's probably more expensive than the white foam core. No, boy, I'm gonna take that away for right now. I'm gonna go more towards the orange. It wouldn't necessarily reach there, but I think just from a visual standpoint, nope, gotta get more of the. I'm maybe gonna get some of that Naphtol Scarlet on that brush and do this. Yeah, I just need a little hint of it there. That's all. Because we did do the little flashlight thing, and it did show that the orange does reach all the way up to there. Now remember, this is almost non-existent, this shape right here. I basically have to paint that shape in here. Now let me, okay, it does not reach over there. Alright, good to know. Boy, that is definitely a good price there. Gonna hit that a little bit of the dark there. Okay. Also there. So I think I've kind of overcome the big line that goes right down to the center of that. Yeah, it'd be nice if these were 3D printed, but again, you can see it in the video. That's what we're gonna do there, right? Is it get some of that final lighter stuff there. And that's what one of the things we'll be doing, among other things, after the stream. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that light over there. We're good here. That needs to stay dark because again, the light, right? That's in shadow. You can see, right? Light's not hitting that at all. Their ambient light is, but not the object source lighting. Here, let me also take a little more of this away so I can get at this underside here. I wish I had the tool I would normally use for that, but that has vacated the premises here. Now that is very efficient there. Yeah, I'm glad you can get that much out of each piece. Well, because you need so many of the tiles, right? It's a good thing. I'm just trying to clear this away here so that I can get some of. There we go. Now I can get a little bit more of a paint down here. That's better. Don't want this to fall off of here, but I also need to be able to get at that. Hit that a little bit here. Okay. Now some of the lighter stuff here. Maybe just the radiant violet here. We did pretty well getting that down here. Let me get a little bit more of the light there, and we'll again, whatever's on the ground, right? We're reflecting that. We do need to sharpen the edge of that a little. Yeah, okay, that's I didn't want to get too light there, because again, if that is, the reflected light is lighter than our cast firelight, cast firelight not going to look terribly fiery anymore, is it? Not really. This orange here, is that enough? I don't know, let me get maybe a little bit of this over here too. I guess we can just try and resurrect a little bit more of this lighter orange here. Oh, that is yeah, Bithron. I keep if I was to be redoing my tables again, I would go with the 8x8 tiles instead of the 12x12, because we think, oh, I only need 4 of them to do a 4x4. It's actually, you're better off kind of with that, right? Your smaller 8x8s. It gives you way more flexibility. Obviously, there's a lot more edges you got to mesh together, but still, that's what we needed here. And I got to do the same thing on the other side. So we got the light, right? It's got to hit these. So not these sides over here, but it's got to hit these sides. Let me get the light here again. That's a cast from our brazier. Not on this side, but on this side of these guys here. Let me okay, I do have a little bit of the white left there. some of the yellow there too. And let's bring that over here. Should lighten up the ones closest to it like this. There. Same on this side over here. There, okay. I might even extend this a little further. That might, yeah, that makes a little more sense. That kind of ended a little bit abruptly right there. But now as, well, we're getting a little bit closer to 2-3, and I got a lot of stuffs that we need to do. Actually, well, I might even, now Hero Zone's just working, looking at dice, so I think we'll maybe head over to Magical Hack. So I do want to say thanks to everybody for all the bits and the subs and the follows and the cheers. Also the raids. And well, not many hours from now, we will be doing a bigger version of this kitty right here. So big old flame, big kitty over there. Oh, thanks, Arid. Appreciate you being here. Again, I do hope that you are feeling better. Thanks, Denethor. Of course, everybody say thanks to Armored Wolf for doing all those moderations. Thank you so much, Armored Wolf. Also, thanks, Bithron, for doing all the clips there. I know there was a bunch of them this stream. So there you go. So there it is. Again, Marvel Crisis Protocol, Adepticon Terrain. I am definitely glad you're doing better there, Irid. And Grand Oracle, thank you so much. I'll send you some pictures of some things and kind of fill you in on some stuff. I'm going to get the raid countdown underway here. So thanks again, Armored Wolf. Appreciate you doing all those moderations and posting all the links. And Ratu, see you hopefully maybe tomorrow. So thanks again, everybody. Appreciate it.